And we don't even need to go live now before we actually start getting that busy chat going. Look at you all. I can see you all in the chat. Hi, everyone. Ed, hello. Andy, hello. Hello. It looks like Andy's still finishing his tea. Do you want to go away and come back later?
Andy's not been home long. That's why Andy's arrived precisely when he intended to. Yes.
Of course. How are we all?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
My first Christmas outing. So.
Oh, Christmas outing. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Christmas outing. Hi.
Yeah, that time of year. I don't have office Christmas parties because it's just.
This is your office Christmas party. Hurrah!
I need to have a word with boss and tell him I can't make it.
Tragic.
Karina, hello.
Hello.
We've got Bob Arts in there as well. That's Martin. Bill's here.
Can I just say I've got my new control panel thing happening here, and it's all very confusing.
Is it? Well, the audience don't know. They don't know that you were involved in it in the first place. Andy's had an upgrade this week. He's been invited to be one of the actual admins on the Cosmic Council. Should have done it a long time ago, to be fair. So he can now see everything that I see and everything that Ed sees.
And he can do stuff like this.
Yep.
And then that.
Sometimes
he can do that.
Oh.
I could, with great power comes great responsibility. And powers can be given, and they can also be taken away.
You can't even share to my stream from here. It's quite odd.
Oh, right. Okay. Can you do that? See,
I think it's got a little tick next to you, but my channel isn't on here, of course. So I might have to see if I can figure out how to do that.
I never thought of that. Is that something you can't do as an admin?
I haven't tried it yet. I've
yeah.
literally been sat down 30 seconds, so
Fair enough.
Of which 15 have consisted of looking at this. So
this is where he steps down from admin roles. Yeah, you're all very, very busy there in the chat. Phil, what is that?
I think it's a smiley face with two hearts and teeth.
Okay. Dave's here as well.
Dave.
Everyone, Rolando's here. He's changed his name. He's now the Utah Toy Hunter.
Cool.
I think we're all well, Dave. Thank you. I hope you are too. So tonight, for a topic of conversation, I suggested that we actually go back and take a look at some of the topics that we did in our earlier episodes and revisit them. Because there's been a lot of people that have joined us since starting this little journey that won't have paid any attention to our earlier episodes. At least I don't think they would have done. Oh, good man, Rolando. Good man. Thank you. Putting the links in there. You're a good one. You're a good one. So yeah. I'm going to start with Andy, I think.
Okay.
I did write a list of some of the questions.
Yeah, and then you
I reckon to be
more questions, which I noticed about 45 seconds ago.
Pardon?
Then you edited it to include more questions, which I saw about 45 seconds ago.
Well, it's because I went to press return and didn't also have control or command or whichever it is pressed, so it actually sent the message. So it weren't a case of adding. Yeah, so one of the questions, and in all fairness, Dave, I'm not copying you. We did this before you.
Yes, I did.
Yes. And it's got nothing to do with being on your stream last week, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I really did. It was good fun, was that?
I was sat there watching that and I was thinking there's something very familiar about all this.
Yeah, but if you think that you were the first person to ask those questions on YouTube, then even you're wrong.
I wasn't. I was the first person to make it popular.
Of course you were. All three of the people that watched your streams.
Those three, I would rather have quality over quantity.
Bless. Oh, Sean's joined us as well. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Listen, I'm still really, really chuffed to bits that I actually lost followers on YouTube. I lost 2 subscribers. I thought that were brilliant. I was like, yeah.
You know, if I was to look, I think I would see that I lose, enough every week. It just does. It just does. We all steal ideas from each other. We do. It's about bringing something original to it as well, though, isn't it? And gaps here. Spectrum. It's been said.
No, but in all fairness and seriousness, I do like what Dave has called theirs, that 5 points of articulation, because I do like that. Yeah, I do like, credit where credit's due, because obviously, it's nice to articulate our feelings about our collecting habits.
Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. Seamless.
I do believe it's a joint thing between Dave and Lee. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, let's not forget Lee.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure who brings what to the table, but
is Lee in the chat?
A great job. He's not here yet. I don't know whether or not he'll be joining us. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
Lee.
Well, I demand he joins us. God damn it.
Dave, text him. So yeah. First question, Andy.
Ooh.
To you, sir. How did you start collecting?
I started collecting, I think, on my bike, because I used to cycle around North Wales grabbing comics. So I think comics were probably the first major thing that I started collecting, because I got about 1 Beano, and then I got into Transformers UK. And then I graduated into 2000 AD, and the comic collecting continued, and I retain a fair portion of my comics because I looked through them the other night on the live stream. And then got graphic novels that I collected over a bit of time. And then in terms of my actual collecting back then, I think it was Transformers, actually. Touch of Zoids back in the day. A few Battle Beasts. Yeah. No He-Man, no Mask. Couple of Visionaries. And then I think Mind Wipe was probably about the last G1 Transformer I picked up. Before that phase sort of petered out. I also dabbled in Lego from a reasonable bit as well.
So right now, are we talking about the early days before you stopped?
The early days, yeah. But then when I came back to collecting, a lot of it was driven by nostalgia for the stuff that I'd had back then, which were things like Dinky Eagle, sort of the Corgi Juniors stuff that I had. That was the Enterprises. Well, not the Enterprise so much, but the Klingon Battle Cruiser, Starfighter from Buck Rogers, all that sort of good stuff. And whilst I am still in sort of nostalgia mode for the most part. Obviously, this was, I can show it off a bit more later, but this I picked up from you was one of my first pickups from the Cosmic Toy Man.
Nice.
Was my new sort of Diamond Select Bird of Prey, which obviously is a darn sight bigger than the Ertl one that I had back in the day. Nice. Of which I've also sort of recollected. But, so a lot of the stuff that I do is kind of recollecting and then coming back and sort of, finding out about new stuff that maybe I just didn't see first time around. So that's kind of how I go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to you, Ed, same question.
Sorry, what question?
How did you start collecting?
Then or now?
Why not both?
Right, let me just close that down. I can give me back then.
He's here.
Back then, let me see now. It would have been so back in the day, it would have been things like Dinky, Corgi, stuff like that. Lots of cars. Evel Knievel, Action Force, Action Man, stuff like that. And then an early memory would be, I've spoken about it before, but the Remco Spider-Man. I'd still keep an eye out for one of them. I love that thing, that Remco Spider-Man. And then obviously the Star Wars figures and toys. And then when that finished in 83, there was like a lean year, between 83 and 84 when Transformers started. Then when Transformers came along, it was just that were it. It was just like Transformers. I mean, there was stuff. There were other stuff as well, like Zoids thrown in there and things like that. Airfix kits, things. There was also the Matchbox Convoy, the die-cast trucks and things like that. They would have been in there as well. And that was probably it then till probably about, I think I jumped off it all probably around about maybe 87, 88, I think, maybe, somewhere around about there. I carried on reading comics, though. Comics didn't drop off. So, that carried all the way through. But then getting back into collecting, bringing it up to when I actually started as what you consider as being a collector, it would have been about... The first piece I got would have been 97. And it was... you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember what part of the Star Wars thing it was, but it was a Boba Fett. It was bought as a gift, but it was like a very muscular looking Boba Fett. I think it's when they start making Star Wars figures look really muscular and buffed up.
Power of the Force 2.
Power of the Force 2, is it? Yeah. So, it would have been around about 97-ish then. But I think that was just kind of really a one-off thing. There was a few bits of Lego in there. But I would say that probably collecting properly didn't start again while probably about back end of 88, 99. And it was Transformers. I'd got my old Transformers out from the loft, tidied them up, ones that weren't complete, made them complete, and sold them on eBay. Because back in the early days of eBay with my 1 megapixel camera, which was sort of like cutting edge back then. Sorry. And then some photos, that were it. And then with some of the ill-gotten gains that I got from selling them on eBay, I picked up. Actually, no, it wouldn't be straight away. It would have been a bit later on.
Lighter fluid, Patrick. Lighter fluid.
I think the one that started it all off would have been the JAFCON Optimus Prime, which I think came out in 2000. I think it was 2000. It was for some kind of toy convention, reissue toy convention. There was that, and then I also bought. There was a local lad that I knew. He was selling his collection of Transformers, and I bought that off him. There was figures, and it was a full run of Marvel UK comics as well that he had. And I bought the job lot off him. So that's probably would have been about.
That's a big job.
About 2000, 2001. So back then, it was a case of I gave him fair price for what it would have been back then. But obviously, considering what it'd be worth now, it's like it doesn't seem a lot that I'll give him for it, kind of thing, considering what it would be worth now. And that's probably about it. I mean, that was... Yeah, so I probably got back into that. That's the Transformer side. And then the Spectrum-y side, that didn't start while... Let me see now. I think I started collecting that stuff again probably about 5 years ago. I think it would have been maybe 6 years ago. I got back into that.
I want to agree with you, but the way time flies at the moment, it's probably longer.
I know exactly what you mean. It's one of those days.
Check a spreadsheet now, guys. He's going to check a spreadsheet.
I was going to do, but I can't be bothered. I will have the dates on it. I know for a fact.
You've boxed him into a corner now. He's damned if he doesn't. He's boxed you into a corner.
He has, I'm going to have to look now. You've done it. I'm just looking forward to proving myself wrong.
Is it not insane just how well I know this guy?
It's still one of my favourite lines from the first Deadpool film. That when he boxes Negasonic Warhead into a corner by saying, "So what's it going to be? Sullen glower or long brooding silence?" She has to acknowledge that.
Anyway. So I think that's when I would have So that was it. So it's same question to you now, Gareth. Come on, you.
Oh, me. Do I have to answer these questions as well?
Yes, you have to answer questions.
Listen, as Dave said the other day, I'm the leader of the Cosmic Council. I tell you two what to do, not the other way around.
Again.
Well, like I said to him, and like I probably told you guys before, I never stopped collecting from being a kid. There's been evolution of collecting. Like 1 minute I'll collect one thing, and then I'll move on and collect something else, and I'll move on and collect something else, and I'll end up revisiting things that I've collected before.
Yeah,
but I never actually physically stopped collecting. I've been very fortunate where I've gone from living at home, where obviously you can afford to collect. And then by the time I had moved out and got my own place, I already had the shop, which has always been a distanced extension of my collection. And an awful lot of the things that you see on the shelves in the shop, it's because I've got a passion for it myself, with the exception of things like wrestling and Pokemon and generic diecast to a degree. I'm not really fussed over stuff like that. But yeah, I just never really stopped. But if we were to talk about what got me into Star Wars collecting, that's the Tazos. And that was in the Walker's Crisps. And I think I've told this story a few times. Because we used to eat a lot of Walker's Crisps in our house, I ended up collecting, unwittingly collecting quite a lot of the Tazos. And then I thought, well, you know what? It's $1.99 or $2.99 for the folder to put them in. So I bought the folder to put them in. And then my mum thinks I'm mad on Star Wars, even though I've never seen the films. And for the following birthday, got me loads of Star Wars stuff. I'm like, yay! I don't know what this is, but it looks nice. So I'd read sort of like the bit of the story that's in that Tazo book, which is a very abbreviated original trilogy story. Sort of like a movie souvenir type book. And then before even seeing the films, I read the Jedi Academy trilogy, which is where Luke's going out looking for Jedi apprentices. And then in the October, I think it was the October, the special editions of that year came out on VHS. So watched those at Christmas when I got them. And the rest is history. Because if it wasn't for Star Wars, there's no way I'd be in the job that I'm doing now.
So did you watch it in the cinema at that point? Did they release special editions in the cinema?
I've never seen the original trilogy in the cinema.
Have you not? Oh, wow. Okay.
No. I've seen Attack of the Clones onwards in the cinema.
Makes sense timing-wise, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
So, yeah. Quite bizarre, really. And then the similar stories probably for Doctor Who, and in fact for probably everything that I've gotten into, there'll be similar stories that probably revolve around the collecting of the item before ever watching or reading it. Very strange. I'm a glutton for things. I like things.
Yes, but it is interesting that, because that means that what attracts you for the most part isn't nostalgia, because
no, not at all.
You didn't have any attachment to the actual series and things that a lot of things are derived from. You're just going for it because you like it, which is nice, you know.
Yeah, which is probably why sometimes I don't know if butt heads is the right phrase to say here, but from why my opinion might differ drastically to you guys or some others that we've spoken to about how things revolve around nostalgia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's strange to have built a business on nostalgia when I don't feel that myself.
But that's good, though, in a sense, because it means that you don't mind selling stuff. It actually makes it. Yeah, yes,
what
certain
you're doing
things,
is
but not as much as you would do otherwise. That you actually have the sort of emotional attachment to, is what I mean. You know,
you're building your business on other people's nostalgia.
Well, there was that. Yeah. There's that.
Yeah.
I know what makes you tick. I know exactly what is etched into your rose-tinted glasses. I don't know how far I am behind on the chat. Let's have a look. Evolution. I don't know if that's a reference to something.
Evolution.
Love a Tazo. Star Wars itself got me collecting. It never goes away. No, it doesn't. And actually, that is something that we will have a talk about if people have watched it. Don't judge me, but I've never seen a single Star Wars movie in my life. I can tell you now, at your age, neither had I.
There's so much more out there now, though. That's the thing. For us, it was all dominating because it was the only thing, really.
Yeah. Oh, so, he's disappearing for a little while. He's stepping outside and maybe some time.
It would appear so.
Adam, no way. He's only a young lad, Martin. He's only a young lad.
But it's perfectly possible, though, because, I mean, you know, I can find stuff on Netflix and every time I see it on Netflix, you know, see stuff on Netflix, I just think, my God, how many hours of science fiction are there out there now that you can readily find that you don't have to watch at Christmas Day or whatever when it's getting repeated? You know, it's just a totally different universe now.
But yeah, the only Star Wars thing I've seen is that Baby Yoda show. So it doesn't even know who Yoda is, but he knows it's Baby Yoda.
It's the Chronicles of Grogu.
Yes. The Mandalorian, that's correct. They did release in cinema. I know they released in cinema.
The special edition.
Vintage Playmobil and Britain's figures got me started. That's interesting.
That is interesting, given where you are.
Yeah, especially the Britain's aspect of it.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
You got to like a bit of Britain's. I mean, that was something I had as a kid. Britain's stuff.
Yeah.
Lack is an American viewer,
right?
So it's interesting for something that was obviously really big over here. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that big in the States.
I wonder if that was them trying to expand actually in the face of things like Star Wars, because they expanded the space range quite hard at one point.
Yeah, still need to finish the Harry Potter spin-offs.
You do you, Adam. That's fine.
Just do the first one. Don't bother with the other two. Here's the twist. I've never seen Harry Potter. TikTok. Are we talking about the app, or come on, Gareth? It's time to catch up on the chat. I know what gets you hot. Oh, Gap, you've got no idea, mate. And we're not going into it here. How dare you? What, me? I used to horribly abuse and destroy my toys. What you do in your bedroom is up to you. Star Wars was the first line I looked after and carefully kept. That's interesting.
That is interesting, yeah.
That is quite interesting, yeah. Sorry, Adam, I'm showing my age. I was a child in the picture seeing Star Wars for the first time. For the time being, for the first time, I think you mean. My mum thinks I'm not a real Harry Potter fan since I've only watched the films, not read the books. Only book I've read is the Godzilla comic he got from Gareth.
It's a beginning. It's a beginning.
It is, yeah. You do need to read more, though, if that's the case. Britain's America Civil War figures, to be specific. That's interesting as well. I didn't know they'd done American Civil War. Yeah. And they did the Cowboys and Indians as well, didn't they, and everything?
Yeah, they did quite a broad range of figures, one way or another.
Palps, hello. Playing The Empire Strikes Back on the Spectrum. Spectrum!
Oh, and I have an update of how many years ago it is.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
8.
What, sorry?
8.
Nearly 2017.
I don't know why I'm looking at my clock because that doesn't have a calendar on it. Well, it does, but it doesn't show the year 24. Right, okay, yeah, 7. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's the earliest entry on my spreadsheet that mentions Spectrum that I can find. But interestingly, it was for some Spectrum games. So
you would have had a Spectrum before that.
I think I may have had a Spectrum. I know which the first one was. It was that one. That was the first one I got. Obviously, it didn't have the black keys. I put the black keys on it, but that was the first one I got.
Wow.
So there we go.
I was collecting Lego from hand-me-downs from my dad's mate, some born in 60s and 80s. I had 3 or 4 tea chests. Wow. No, the huge big wooden ones, but Dad and Mum had to sell to eat. Late 80s. Fair enough. But my dad started to buy old Scale Electric, and I've now got a box of Scale Electric tracks. Nothing else. You'd be better off with the Lego. Yeah, you'd be far better off with the Lego.
Slightly more play options there, I think.
I like a Scale Electric.
Oh, I had
nothing wrong with Scale Electric.
But my dad could never quite figure out how to resurrect the brushes.
Yeah, in fact I've got one. It's packed away, but I've got I got it for Christmas years ago. It's the Starsky and Hutch set.
Brilliant.
So it's got the Gran Torino and this like random Corvette that it chases around the track. Although when I was on the Hornby Corgi website a few weeks ago, I was rather taken by the kit. They do a kit, Batmobile, and the DeLorean. All three look very nice.
Yeah,
clever. Yeah,
but it's like no. I mean, they actually do a set, I believe, where it is kit versus the DeLorean.
Interesting. I think I know which one you mean. I think I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
Dave, you will know all about that when you meet me that night at the Premier Inn, and I'm laid there on the chaise longue in just my Roman toga, and the room is illuminated by glow-in-the-dark Godzillas. But you know how long glow-in-the-dark things last? It'll have to be quick, mate. He started something with this Premier Inn gag, hasn't he?
The problem is that the DeLorean wouldn't last 2 seconds against kicks. It's made of tin foil, literally.
Yeah. Hello, Lily.
Lily has arrived.
We were just saying good things about you. All good things. All good things. Britain's did a lot of American military and Western figures. I thought so. Toy me, Lee. Toy you, Dave. Yeah. Most of my collection is from the 70s. Fair enough. Remember my Spectrum grey rubber keys? Jet Set Willy was the best game. He disagrees.
It's good. It's good, but it's not as good as Manic Miner.
Manic Miner.
Manic Miner's the best.
Western American Civil War Playmobil, all 72 vintage. Wow. I daren't read out your
comments. Making Marvel Legends Black Widow do things to McFarlane, Catwoman, and He-Man is watching. Super.
First figures I used to collect were those electronic train toys where you could make a train track and the train used to go round and round. You used to have thousands of these toy trains. Interesting. Yeah?
Hornby.
Or do you mean something more
basic
than that, I wonder?
Don't know.
I wonder if Tommy did a thing like that.
TCR, wasn't that, is it Total Control Racing that stood for?
Sounds about right.
Because they weren't, if I remember right, I don't think TCR were traditional slot cars like what Scale Electric was. The contacts were raised, like they were like metal ridges raised on the track.
Right.
I think TCR cars were held on by magnets, because I know some of the. I think it was a Duke. They did a Dukes of Hazzard TCR set, which could like do skids or sort of like stop, flip round, and then go back the other way.
Oh, clever.
Yeah,
Clever.
After my love with trains, I moved on to collecting realistic sharks and whales, then collected dinosaurs, and now, naturally, he's moved on to Godzilla.
You've got to love a rubber dinosaur. They're just great.
Okay, take care, Lack. Bye-bye, mate.
Yeah, Lack.
Rum is busy playing with his pot noodle. What?
Is he playing, I think?
Okay.
I'm concerned that play came up as an alternative to playing, however, but
I think it's playing, yeah. I knew you would say Manic Miner. Also liked Wizard's Lair.
Fair game.
Take cares. They could change lanes, total control racing.
Yeah, total control racing, yeah.
Still collect some dinosaurs now and then. Okay, cool.
I think
by all means, people,
well.
put in the chat what it is that got you starting on your collections. So that'll be interesting.
Let me just double check, because I think it was TCR that also did the Transformers scale electric set.
Okay.
So it might not have
been. And the next question that I thought I'd ask, which is something that we addressed in our very early days. We've been doing this about 18 months.
Feels like longer, but
yeah. What's your favourite purchase? What's the best deal that you think that you've got? And what may you have regret buying or not buying?
No, it was Toyco. Sorry, it was Toyco, not TCR.
Okay.
The cars could transform as they drove around.
Joe, how dudes?
How do dudes?
Yeah. Hi, Joe.
We are here.
Started collecting with the $6 Million Man, then Space 1999, then Star Wars.
I like by Steve Austin.
I started collecting with McDonald's toys. Literally out of spite, I made my mum get a random Sonic figure. Messing with that very figure as I'm watching the stream. Good man. For me, it was watching the 2015 Robots in Disguise series with his daughter and buying the toys. Made me want some myself.
Interesting.
Very good, Joe. Hope you enjoyed it.
Tell me, what was that question, Gareth?
So, what's your favourite purchase? As in maybe it was a good deal or something like that. And what is there anything that you regret buying, or possibly regret not buying? I'm asking these questions, and I can't think of answers to them.
Well, I suppose one thing that I was just sort of deeply sort of random pickup, in the sense that had I not been watching the right video at the right time, I wouldn't have known that someone had brought it into the country, was my Die-X. Because I never thought I would have owned an original from back then, Die-X, given that we never had them in this country. So it wasn't particularly on my list or anything, but seeing it and sort of knowing that it had come across already, so I wouldn't have to pay some ridiculous postage or anything for it. I mean, not that it was particularly cheap anyway, but just being able to get one that was in really nice condition in a box, that was really cool. So I think for me, that was quite a sort of a step up in terms of what I was on occasion actually sort of looking for, because it was a sort of, it wasn't a cheap item to get, but it was definitely one that was right where my interests were in terms of what the website had been doing for years, and just generally my general sort of love of that particular show. So for me, nostalgia wise, that was a big hit. But I already knew a little bit about those sort of toys, on the basis of what other people had told me about the show in the past as well. So that was cool. Trying to think about things I've regretted getting. I don't know really. I'm quite sensible on the auctions. I will back out of an auction if it's getting really stupid. And then, yes, I mean, I might regret the fact that I didn't win it, but I probably won't regret not having spent stupid money on it, because I know that ultimately it probably will come around again. Like Ed says, ultimately things that you're meant to have, you'll end up with. And prime example of that recently was when I got something off Facebook for the first time ever, purely off catching a glimpse of a post that someone had put on a group that came up in my feed and went, oh, I wonder if that's still available. And lo and behold, it was. And now I've got a box Battlehawk for not ridiculous money. So finally, even though I wasn't actively looking for it, it literally just it found me in that sense, which was nice. You know,
it was meant for you.
It was meant for me, yes.
Yeah.
So that was nice. You know, that sort of came around like that. I mean, in terms of things that I regretted, the hassle that I had getting that Babylon 5 built that I got from you, Gareth, in no way reflective of yourself. Obviously, it was just that didn't go quite as I would have liked to. That felt like a bit of a struggle, and it's still not quite right. So I still need to try and have a little go at it myself. But that sort of, I'm kind of over it now. But that did stick in my craw for a while, just because it didn't go the way I hoped it would have gone. But that was just, you know, that's a fairly unique situation as these things go. So yeah.
Okay.
Those are the best I can come up with. I bought you some thinking time, if nothing else.
Yeah. I think one of the best buys would have been my G1 Soundwave. I think when I got that, I think that's probably one of the one of the best ones, and probably the one that I got one of the best deals on. After the fact, I bought it as mint in seal box, and it isn't mint in seal box. But the box was never taped at the factory, so it's never had any sealing tape on it. And the figure that's inside it is actually Takara Diaclone stock.
Oh.
So there's a really long, convoluted story to it, which I won't bore you with it. But you see, Soundwave, the Hasbro Soundwave, has at the top of his wrist, he has like gaps, there's like holes in the top of his wrist. Whereas this version that I have doesn't. It's like solid plastic.
Oh, right.
But there's other things as well. Anyway, but that I would say that is, you know, because it's absolutely pristine. You know, all the weapon, you know, the missiles and stuff are still on the sprue, and you know, it's exquisite. Is that? I think that's probably one of the best ones. As for regret, it's funny actually, because at one point or another, everything I buy for my collection, I regret buying. You know, and it's usually at the point where the money gets handed over. That's the point where I regret thinking, oh, you know.
This is because he's from Yorkshire, and he's very much a Yorkshire man.
Maybe so. One that it was in retrospect, I think, it's probably this is going to be years ago as well as this. But I bought some SH Figure Arts Star Wars figures. You know, the 6-inch ones.
I remember this.
I got Leia, Luke, Han, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, because I was building up a 6-inch collection of like the characters from Star Wars. I call it don't call it New Hope. It's Star Wars. Yeah, building up a collection of the main characters from Star Wars. And when they first arrived, I thought, oh, nice one, got them out. You know, they're really, really well made. They're really well articulated. And I got this display case for them. And about after a week, I was like, no, I don't like them. And it probably sounds silly, but I mean, some people may be able to identify with this. I don't know, but honestly, they started creeping me out. They started creeping me out because the likenesses were so good, and I thought, no, it's too creepy. So I traded them in with Gareth. I traded them in with Gareth. I just thought, no, you see, because I do have Black Series figures, but I tend to collect the characters that have armor or helmets, you know, or one, you know, like stormtroopers, Mandalorians, things like that, you know, attack pilots and things. But at least with as good as what the Black Series figures can do, face sculpts, they still don't fall into that Uncanny Valley bracket. you know, they're still slightly off, so you get away with them as a figure, yeah. So it's like, but with those SH Figure Arts figures, it was just like there was just something a bit creepy about them. So I think that's probably why as well. I could never be a Hot Toys collector.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably go something like for RoboCop or say like 89 Batman, you know, because you've just got the kind of like, you know. But I think, you know, I think it's just that uncanny valley thing. So I mean, that may be a regret. But I'll add a caveat on that with it's not a regret buying, it's a regret selling, and that will be Shining Ultra Magnus, the JAFCON. No, what did JAFCON? It was convention exclusive, but it was translucent yellow plastic. G1 Ultra Magnus.
Oh, wow.
And they only produced 800 of them.
Gosh.
And I had one, and I sold it. And it was like,
wow.
But I mean, you try not to have it as a regret because I'm happy with my collection, and my collection wouldn't be where it is now if I hadn't have sold it. Because I sold it at the same time as I sold that. I sold Nucleon Quest Super Convoy. I sold God Jinrai. I sold Fire Guts Jinrai. There was a lot of sort of like really nice exclusives that I had that I sold, you know. And it's just, I mean, I still have the pictures of them and weep over them. But yeah, I think best and best deals probably Soundwave. And that's me.
Okay. I think it's safe to say as well that in 18 months or however long it has been, Eddie's answer has not changed in the slightest.
What's that?
Because everything you've just said sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah, well, it will, yeah.
It's war story, isn't it?
It's either one of two things. I'm telling the truth, or I'm a bloody good liar.
Good liar. No, I'm fairly sure that it's the truth.
But I actually had a similar experience, but sort of out in the wilds with that, because when I was very little, my parents took me down to London and we went to Madame Tussauds, and it properly freaked me the hell out. They actually had to take me out of Madame Tussauds, like, you know, sort of out of almost like a side exit thing, because I think that in my head, I might have seen the Doctor Who Auton episode. So I thought they were going to come alive and start shooting at me.
Okay, yeah.
And, you know, it was probably, they just felt so lifelike that they could at any second do something. And I couldn't do it. You know, I really couldn't do it. So, you know, it's just one of those little sort of things that sticks with you as a kid. And you just like, nope.
Okay. So I suppose that's me now then. Do I have to keep it to my collection, this answer? Do I have to keep it to my collection, or can I include it with things that's in the shop?
How long have we got?
Yeah. Well, if it was going to be my favourite buy, it would be that Godzilla collection. Yeah. It's shaped my life since. It really has. It opened my eyes and broadened my horizons to things that I'd never watched the films prior to. Well, I tell a lie. I'd seen the 97, 98 film with Matthew Broderick, and I'd seen the 2014 American Godzilla film as well with Bryan Cranston. The first of the MonsterVerse films.
I'd assumed that you were a long-time Godzilla fan, and that was kind of partly why you got that.
No, it's probably just as well. Otherwise, there's no way that I would have sold a lot of the stuff that was in that collection. And in all fairness, the regrets of selling will be some of the things from that collection as well. Because there's certain things that I want to buy now that are going to cost me a lot more than what I sold them for. But when I just outlaid that much money for stock for the shop, I had to get that investment back.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't keep anything until that investment came back. So yeah, it would be Godzilla stuff there. That collection did shape things for me, and I ended up watching the films out of interest of what it was of the things that I was listing on my website. And some of the things that I regret selling from it are the Mighty Max style heads. These things, those things. I had some complete and sealed in the packet. Well, no, sorry, they weren't sealed in the packet, but they had the packaging and they were complete. And yeah, they're in the hundreds to replace. And I kind of regret that now for obvious reasons, especially since I went down the Mighty Max route and it bleeds the two collections together to those. Regret buying. Regret buying. Do I have any regret purchases? For a time, and Ed will be able to attest to this, I regretted buying a certain Optimus Prime. So it arrived with its arm broken off at the shoulder, and it was a nightmare to repair. Ed did a wonderful job.
Yeah, we got him. We got Ratchet on the job.
We did.
Which, as always, I still stand by that comment. You know, in the '86 movie, yeah, if Ratchet and Wheeljack had been there, Prime would have lived. It would Perceptor screwed up.
So yeah, Perceptor was never a medic.
It's what?
Perceptor was never much of a medic. It should have been first aid, shouldn't it?
No.
Yeah. One of Defensor's units was an ambulance, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first aid. Yeah, but he's minor league. You want Ratchet?
Didn't they come about after the movie? Or were they second?
I was going to say actually that might, because they didn't have special.
They were season 2. They were season 2.
Right, okay, so they would have been there. Right, I'm going to catch up on the chat a little bit. Who else remembers when Subway did little collectibles? I remember getting Toothless the Dragon toy from there when the third movie released in 2019. I've never really bought meals from Subway, so
no. I can imagine doing that though.
Mark's best purchase was recently a vintage Millennium Falcon. We'll never regret. That was Saturday, mate. Come on.
We've seen the picture.
My favourite purchase was buying Breaker off you, Gareth. Earlier thing. Oh, okay, cool. I can't remember that one. Thank you, Rolando. My one regret is passing up an R2-D2 with lightsaber because I couldn't quite stretch the £150 price tag. 1995.
Wow. That's a lot.
Now the lightsaber's worth more than that. My favourite purchase was buying Breaker. Oh, you just said that. Oh, I've just read it, haven't I? Okay, my bad. Sorry. Regret getting the figure arts figures. Okay. Any reason why, Joe? Bro, I don't understand that one. I'm too old for this. What's the R2-D2 worth now? I've seen complete R2 with lightsaber going for 500 to 600. I think they're extreme highs. They must be very, very mint at that price. I had a sort of like a brand new looking one that I let go at 450, and everyone told me I was expensive at that. That's about a year ago. So yeah.
Is this the one from Return of the Jedi with the green lightsaber?
Yeah, last 17 figure.
Right.
Yeah. My favourite. You've just done that. But yeah, went to Blackpool for my brother's wedding and was able to find an Energon Inferno. Cool toy in itself, but because it's tied to his memories of his brother's wedding, which makes it even better. Cool. That's good, is that? Monster Arts may be OG. Original Monster Arts are not original gangster at all. They're new. But it's the trashiest to handle with posing because they break every 5 seconds. Fair enough. Oop, to the £500 to £600. Hello, TJ. Lots of TJ hellos. I'll skip past a lot of those. I have a Takara My Clone Rekgar that Lee gifted to him at TF UK Con last year, which is also precious because of the memories attached to it. I like the way that you value things. That you don't just value the toy, you value what you've got, the emotionally connected to it. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. My best toy buy was a rubber bin lid for Beyblades.
Marvelous.
I got an SH Monster Arts or Figure Arts Mecha Godzilla for like £15. It was a bootleg, but a really good bootleg. That's good to hear. Good to know that some of the bootlegs of those are good as well, actually. Everyone's just dating on Figure Arts right now. It seems that way, doesn't it? Just as I've stuck in more.
They make some really, really good figures. Don't hate them. It's just that they weren't for me.
Oh, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, my one regret was buying Starscream Masterpiece from Space Bridge this year. It felt cheap in hand.
Gosh.
Well, I don't think that's Space Bridge's fault, but I get what you mean. Would you agree, Ed? Do you think that Starscream Masterpiece feels cheap in hand?
Which one? Because there's been quite a few Masterpiece Starscreams. The first one, which would have been the first one that if it's a Hasbro one, the first one they did was like more like the original toy colours, because the first Takara one was like a bluey green colour.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wouldn't say there's anything cheap about those. I'd suspect maybe the one that he may be speaking about is the Hasbro MP11 one, the one that they recolored into like Acid Storm and
right. Okay. Yeah.
Have
they done one for the movies? Because I know he's had some movie toys. He might be talking about one of the movie masterpieces.
It could be. Yeah, it could be the movie Masterpiece Starscream. Yeah, they did. They did do a
you might have to elaborate on that, Ben, mate. Biggest mistake was Ray figure. I'm guessing he's talking about the Black Series one. I mean, not really hate it. I know. Uncanny Valley adjacent to the Astonishing Mountain.
The biggest mistake most toy stock shops probably did was stocking the Rose Tico figure.
You've no choice when it comes as part of a wave. Now we can now order singles, but then you had to buy cases. So in order to have Grand Admiral Thrawn on your shelf, one of them, you had to have 2 Rose Ticos.
Right.
I love my box Kenner Imperial.
Is that really big one?
Yes, that's the really big one. Yeah, £200 in about '96.
I always loved that shuttle.
There's a script on the desk that's referring to Ed getting the same stuff. Anyone heard from Mark? He's okay. As far as we know, he's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's stuff we can't go into in public. Sorry. Oh, there we go. I'll never regret a purchase, but I had a big collection I let go, and that's your one big regret. I know all about that one, Martin. I do. Mr. B! Hello there, Gareth, Excelsior, and Ed. Ripley's Believe It or Not in Blackpool used to creep me out. Loved it, though. I don't know, Ripley's.
I know of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
I think it's next door to Hicks's, isn't it?
Just down the street from Capone's.
Round the corner from Hudson's.
Is that right? Yeah. But I'm in Hudson's.
You can no, it's a different Hudson. they sell newts.
They sell newts. I like it. They used to sell newts just opposite me. TJ, I've just finished Tomb Raider. He's letting everyone know he's finished Tomb Raider. Did you enjoy it, though? I asked him that, and he never answered. But he's answered you. Look at that. Did you clean sheet it? Well, if you keep wiping, eventually you will get a clean sheet. My wife loves How to Train Your Dragon. That's not random at all, is it, Dave?
I don't think
straight past a lot of these. The original Boba Fett goes over. No, it doesn't. True. Come back to planet Earth. The finished with you on. In fact, no. Stay on planet Dog. Please stay on planet Dog. I don't laugh. The arenas cost a fortune. My best buy was 2 bags of vintage Star Wars figures for about £5, about 40 of them. And then he flogged them all on eBay.
I must have got rid of a fair few of mine at one point. I think they had that carrying belt for them.
It was Starscream MP11.
MP11. Yeah, I think if it was the Hasbro one, then the Hasbro MPs tend to be just a little bit lesser than the Takara ones, which really shouldn't, because to my knowledge, they're all made at the same place anyway. I think there's just a different color scheme at some point, a different packaging. But hey ho, what the hell? Although saying that MP08 Takara's Grimlock is good. But the Hasbro version of it has a better paint scheme on it because they've got all the like G1 style stickers tampoed onto it.
Right.
It does have a bit extra detail on that one.
Regret selling them all for about 600 for a holiday. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't regret getting 600 quid for a fiver's worth of investment.
And it is quite fascinating that though, isn't it? It's kind of, what's that curve like in terms of their value going up compared to what you could have got if you put it in a bank or something,
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't mean disrespect for the space bridge that Starscream felt. No, I know you didn't, Ben. I was just making sure that other people realise that you didn't as well, that's all. I'm loving the collecting bug again. Vintage Star Wars as a whole. You've got them all now. You've got them all. Well, you have asked me to get one more for you, haven't you? He wants a small head Han Solo. Small head Han Solo. Don't look now, but you have a halo. Yes, I do. That's because I'm such a good boy. I'm an absolute angel.
No, it's just that he's about to be tapped in back at head by Mr. Runs.
That was last year. Wow. It wasn't random. Someone mentioned too. I know they did. I know. It's falling down, though. What's falling down? London Bridge. Again. Or the arena. What's falling down?
Your halo.
Mario! Hello.
Mario.
Gareth, Ed, Andy, everyone. There we are. Caught up with the chat at last.
Did you mention something about regret not buying?
Did I mention regret not buying something? I don't think I did, actually. No.
Was that going to be a question?
I think it was in the mix.
Well, it was part of this question. Yeah. Why? Do you have something to say for that one?
Yeah. There's a few things that I do regret buying, but I think probably one that's at the top is, again, this is probably going to be 20 plus years ago, is this. But I had the opportunity to buy, and it was absolutely mint and complete, really, really tasty and shiny, the Takara Microman Uncle, the Walter P38 Uncle set, which is the original Megatron.
The original Megatron. Yeah.
And the box it comes in is in the style of a suitcase. And it comes with like these little targets and it's pellet fires and stuff like that. And it was absolutely.
You had that at one point.
No, never had it. I had the opportunity, and like I say, it was for peanuts. It was for nothing, and I passed on it. Because there was something else I wanted.
Right.
And I thought I can always circle back to it, and I never did. I never did circle back to it.
You must have shown me pictures of it then, because I thought you'd had it.
Oh no, yeah. I probably will have shown you pictures of it at one time or another. I mean, yeah. So that was.
I got a G1 Megatron. Never had Optimus, right? I got Megatron, and I came across him on an eBay auction recently, and I'd forgotten just how much of the contents of his box are absolutely not Megatron, because he's got this enormous long stock for his shoulder attachment, for when you're sort of doing that with him, putting it up to your shoulder, and it's like it takes up most of the box length, just that. And the actual Megatron itself is tiny in the box compared to all of the accessories. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Now, the toy's about 2/3 the size of an actual Walter P38. But the stock and the barrel extension and the scope,
it's hilarious.
As the thing suggested, it's based off a weapon that was used in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. TV show. So that's because the idea for the original Microman line was that it was everyday objects
Yeah,
that
gadgets
you used
sort of-
that turned into robots. So Soundwave isn't a boombox; it's actually a micro cassette recorder. Not like obviously Blaster is supposed to be a boombox, but Soundwave was always like a micro cassette recorder and that. So, but yeah, that was a regret. But I mean, Megatron, it's a good toy, but it's like as a kid, you can understand why so many were broken.
Yeah.
Oh, mine was by a friend. Yeah.
It's strange the value of toys now. My dad threw out a lot of mine away as junk in the 80s, classed as worthless then, no resell then. No, well, there is now, and it's because of dads like yours.
I shudder to think how much of my stuff went, how much it would be worth now if I actually sat and thought about it hard. I don't want to.
The thing is, I mean, back then, you're playing with stuff. You don't see, like you don't see the future value of things. I mean, some people will, but the majority of kids they get toys and they play with the toys.
But what's hilarious though is that I was getting all that stuff, and that was just going to like sort of the local sort of 5-10 free ads in the local paper. But my dad was adamant that he would get these yesteryear cards for me. But, he was like, "Oh, these will be worth a mint in a few years, son. Mark my words." Like, no, he will not, Dad. People want space warriors, and they don't want yesteryear vintage bloody cars.
There is actually a range of Matchbox models of yesteryear that are very, very good, high quality die-cast 1/43 scale models, and those are expensive. But it's not those vintage looking 1920s, 30s, and 40s cars that everyone got tons of.
Yep, them.
It's not them.
I mean, I've got one. I remember as a kid, my dad buying me one. They came in like a beige coloured window box.
They also came in a wine coloured box as well, a red wine coloured box.
Yeah, and it's some kind of 1930s American car,
In the 80s,
I've still got it.
A weird cat. Every time you clapped all your whistling, would come to you as a pointless toy. Strange. My big collection of vintage Star Wars was given to a young lad whose family didn't have much. I often think I'm buying my own figures back. You could be. I've done that before, unwittingly.
There was potential.
Yeah. The one that always surprises me is some Doctor Who books, Target novelizations. Sold them at the car boot sale in Dewsbury. Several years later, I decided I want to buy them back, so I bought a bundle off eBay and then got them and just to open them up and find my name written inside them.
Brilliant.
So someone had bought them off me, sold them on eBay, and then I've bought them back from who they sold them to. It could well have been gone through several hands in between for all we know. What is your favourite Fast and Furious?
3.
The 4th? 3?
3.
Tokyo Drift?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
I think my son has made me sit through most of them at this point, but I'm not sure I have a favourite as such.
Okay. I think it would have to be the 1st or the 4th. The 1st, because it's just a decent film all round. It's not amazing. It doesn't break any ground, but it's okay. It stands on its own 2 feet.
It's got interesting characters.
It's point breaking cars.
Yeah, and then the 4th film is when they really reinvented the whole franchise. And everything we've got since is because of that 4th film.
I think I've only seen the 1st and the 3rd one.
Oh right, okay, interesting.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's if I want to watch a film like that, I'll watch The Italian Job with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
It's got more James Bond than Michael Caine, I think it's fair to say, but yeah.
Dave says maybe he will start collecting yesteryear's cars next, where you can get them very cheap. 9, Fast and Furious 9 was completely bad poop. First, then got rubbish.
How many is there?
10 I'm aware of, plus a spin-off.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
There's
I
Hobbs.
don't know if there's an 11th. There might be an 11th.
Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off, yeah. Me after Curry, what, Fast and Furious? I've just been put off the entire franchise. First, then never watched anymore. I had a complete collection of advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures and toys that ended up with an ungrateful nephew. Don't know what he did with them. Daren't ask. Oh.
Fair.
Name a film where the dog dies. I'll start. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. John Wick.
Old Yeller.
Go on, Andy. Name a film where the dog dies.
E.T., sort of.
Okay. I suppose it does. Then brings in dead characters back. What?
He might be referring to the Fast and Furious where they CGI'd what's it?
Oh, well, the character weren't dead. I think if he's talking about Fast and Furious, then he's talking about Han.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, I've not seen them, but I know one of the character in the third film gets killed, but they bring him back, don't they, in later films?
They bring him back in later films, but it's never stated. This is where the convolutedness comes from. It's never stated when the films are set. So they've always said that 4 onwards are set before the third film.
Right.
Yeah. So and then he keeps saying, right, I'm going to Tokyo now. Right, I'm going back to Japan now. He never does. He's always in the next film. But then he does go back, and then they show you that scene again. And it turns out he knew they were going to kill him, so he fakes his death. So after putting it off for all them films, they still find a way out of it.
It's still back.
Justice for Han. He's a good character. He didn't deserve to die anyway. Since the cast are aging, we're talking about us. The next movie should be called Slow and Cautious. I like it.
Or Less Fast, Less Furious.
What? Lassie 3 times. I was thinking Lassie. Jaws, the dog gets eaten by a shark.
Pip it.
Did you see the second end of Mac and Me? I can't remember the first end.
I've not seen it.
No.
I like E.T. I don't accept substitutes or knockoffs.
Oh, Mac and Me a substitute of V.T., do you think? Okay. Dog soldiers, the dog survives. And yeah, I think you meant Han instead of Hatchie. Yeah. Ending. Joe, I say this to you every time. Please think about what you are typing before you actually press enter. Love you to bits, dude, but come on. I sent a picture of that pointless cat I got in the 80s to the WhatsApp group. Oh, did you know? Let's see if I can see it.
I thought I heard a ping then, actually.
Okay. Can I?
I remember that app with that cat that was really popular at that time. Yeah.
I'm just seeing whether or not I can show it to the group. To the you know.
In fact, I've got my WhatsApp open. Why am I even pondering this?
What do you mean you're using voice recognition, Joe? You can't even talk properly.
Gareth.
Sorry, but it's true. Is it there yet? Right, so it's on my phone. Can I get it onto the computer? Come on.
He hasn't sent it to Crusaders, has he?
Yeah.
Because I can't.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. One for the council, says Martin. If you was in a fire.
Now
Well,
Ed is furious.
Bob Felfer.
And you know, Ed, I don't think that he's got this from you at all. Because he's not really into Transformers, so I don't think he would have watched any of the Collector's Archives.
Yeah, it will. It'll have been sneaky.
Oh my word, that's brilliant, is that?
That might actually have been a serious question, though.
I think it is a serious question, yes.
I'll answer it seriously. I am not entirely sure what I would save, because it's like I couldn't. It would probably be a snap decision thing in that moment. What the hell is that?
There we go. This is the cat that Ben was talking about.
What am I associating that with? No, it was on a TV show or something.
No,
Am I thinking of the adventure game?
No, they were not like that on Adventure Game.
No.
It was a talking Aspidestra that was on the Adventure Game.
No, it's reminding me of something, but I can't think quite what it is.
It looks like it would make an interesting beret. It's quite a flat-looking one, isn't it?
It's a mind control beret.
Hypno cat.
So, she was in a fire. I need to rethink this question just to. Because I don't think I've ever heard it before.
No, it's a new one to me. Is that?
What would I say?
If the house was on fire, I could save one collectible. What would it be and why?
It's really odd in the sense that a lot of the stuff that I've got isn't my original stuff from childhood. So, from an emotional attachment point of view, there isn't a lot I've got that's original.
It would be one of them. Because in both instances, there's only one of them in the entire world. We've got the prototype for the Cosmic Toyman. And we've got the glow-in-the-dark one that I had made. Everything else can be replaced, but that could be replaced. There's only going to ever be one prototype. I could have it made again, but it wouldn't be the prototype, would it?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd probably save. I have a very nice, and this is from 1980s. It's a limited edition Bryant and May box of matches. I think I'd save those.
Are they collectible?
Yeah.
I like how Dave says that there's going to be a copyright strike on this question. Andy, what about you?
I don't know. No, I mean, Logic says the Die X because it's box and probably relatively unusual and Starfleet related. But then equally, I'm looking at a signed picture of the ex-bomber bridge crew that's got sort of Go Nagai signature on it and stuff like that. So maybe I ought to save that because that's probably more unique in many respects, even though it's not as old. Because I got that as a thank you for helping with the Starfleet DVD box set. So that's got emotional ties for me as much as anything else, I guess. That. So yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I honestly don't know, I think, is the short answer. I was even thinking about my the one complete Starbird that I've got. Simply because simply because if I had done a sort of my sort of first deep dive delve, I suppose, into stuff from my childhood, that was definitely one of the leading ones I wanted to get back when I started collecting again. So, and it took a while to find one that had all the little bits, to actually build up a complete one. So, maybe that.
Interesting. Very interesting. How is the premium in? I think he means premiere. And Joe, the things that I would do for an all-you-can-eat breakfast. Come on. Knowing you, it would probably be for Doctor Who. Okay. That cat's weird. Says Phil. Bagpuss hasn't aged well. The flying cat meme, maybe? Be a big Dalek guy. Well, that's not at home, but I tell you what, if the shop's burning down, how the hell am I getting that out of it? I'm gonna die with it, aren't I, if I try?
No, mate. It's just levitate. Straight up.
My fire extinguisher. Well played, Lee. Well played. I would take Kingdom Inferno so I can use it to flirt with the firemen. What the hell?
Unexpected turn.
What would your wife say to that? Phil Harlequin. Oh, I think he's on about the life-size Harlequin. No, if there was a fire, that's going to go up like that. It's made out of foam. Seriously, put that anywhere near heat and it's just melted.
Melt.
Andy saved you yesteryear cars.
I haven't got any of them left.
Oh, good night, TJ. Take care of yourself, love. Bye-bye.
Night, TJ.
My wife would flirt with them too. Good one, you too. All right, okay. It's been fun so far, anyway. Other things that I noticed that we talked about early on, but I don't know if they're really suitable for this thing. Collecting on a budget. What would you do to recommend people collecting on a budget? And ideal displays.
Don't go boxed.
Yeah.
Simples.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as budgety as you can get. I mean, I'm a so-and-so for trying to find a good deal on stuff. My recommendation on that front would be if you're hunting on eBay, purposefully misspell things.
Yes.
You'd be surprised what you can find where people have just made a little bit of a goof.
Yeah.
So it won't come up in other searches. You probably won't get a lot of fights over it unless, of course, someone is looking in a particular category as a whole and for exactly that same reason, looking for pictures. Because when I picked up one of my enterprises, the funny thing about that one was the picture was about half of the saucer section. I just went. I recognise that. I sort of vaguely think that might be a diamond select run, and they haven't called it that, which means that the price is immediately not going to get inflated ridiculously. So I did get it for an incredibly good price, and it turned out to be working. So that was a shot to nothing in that sense. But at that price, I thought I've saved myself a considerable amount of money being able to get hold of it at that because someone hasn't taken care of their pictures or their naming. So, double bonus. So it's certainly possible. It's just not straightforward. It's, And the thing is, I might have to declare myself a bit of a hypocrite there as well, because I have on occasion gone down what you would term, I think, the upgrade path. So I'll have spent money getting a sort of a reasonable one, and then I'll have seen a better one, then I'll bought the better one. So actually, I bought the same thing more than once, just because I've decided I like it and I want to try and get a better example of it. So I have done that on occasion, which is counterproductive in terms of the saving money stakes. But then equally, it means I can move the other ones on. So there is that.
That's interesting.
I'd say be selective in what you buy. Pick something, stick to it. Don't get distracted. And if you can't afford, don't buy it. Or don't get yourself into debt. Save up. Because, and Andy mentioned it earlier on, I have a saying that when you're meant to have something, you'll find it, or it will find you. Yeah. And I've tried to do that with my collecting through the years. There's been things that I've wanted, I've not been able to get them at that particular time. And I've just like, well, when I'm meant to have them, I'll have them. And 9 times out of 10, they do end up getting into my collection, so it's, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is just don't, it's like if you start on something like, I don't know, I mean, it's tempting. And I think it's something as collectors we all go through when you first start. Like say, like for Transformers, it's very tempting to start then going and buying everything that's Transformers related.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all right, yeah, I'll get that, I'll get it, but then a time comes where you look and you think, right, okay, there's too much stuff here. There's a lot of stuff that's not really tied or relevant to what I want to actually collect. And then you're stuck then with having to sell stuff off. And more often than not, you never get back for stuff what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up being out of pocket. So it's better to be choosy and more focused at the start, so then you save yourself, further down the line. That's what I'd say. Anyway,
it's like me going on eBay and basically getting tired of spaceship all the time. It's like
fair enough. There's nothing I can really add to that you two haven't said. And Dave's kind of reiterating or pre-iterating what you said as well. Just set a budget and stick to it. Some items are going to cost more than others, but just make sure you stick to that overall budget.
But also consider as well that if you're within range of an emporium such as Mr. Gareth's, that will actually save you on postage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you think about how much you actually spend on postage when you're buying stuff on eBay, it gets a bit eye-watering actually after a while. So.
Yeah, so you might spend a couple of quid more to get the item, but overall you're going to save a bit with what you're going to save on postage. And the potential of having to return something that breaks on the post or buy a second one. Yeah, there is that as well.
And you can actually see it as well.
Yeah.
And properly look at it,
And that's any shop, not just cosmetic toys, that's any shop.
Yes, other retail emporiums are available. Yes.
So Lee says, so in other words, he would be bidding against his fellow dyslexicons.
Well played.
Yeah, Roberts in disguise.
Ben, he would probably save his wife. That's very, very noble of you. But when we start this, we always assume that the wife, children, pets, and everything like that, they're already safe. Isn't that right, Ed?
That's if his wife's at home. She might be out. She may have been the one that started the fire.
Now, they've only recently got married. They're still in that honeymoon stage.
It'll pass. It'll
pass. Yeah, it will. It'll pass. It would save his custom Blackadder TIE Advance. And Martin would save as many Star Wars figures as possible. No, one.
Yeah, it's not a trolley dash. It's not supermarket sweep. Like scoop them in there.
Another thing, Aragorn's sword. Nick is suggesting something that I would save, but I don't have Aragorn's sword.
Is it Aragorn? I'm going to say an Argon sword would be impressive.
Sounds like
what's the most favourite thing you've bought off me?
Nothing. I haven't bought anything off you.
What's the most favourite thing I've bought off Joe? I don't know, Joe, because I tend to buy stuff that's for the shop to sell, isn't it?
Is there a little piece of Joe that you own?
Yes, I have a Link figure up here. I'm fairly sure I got that off Joe. Link from Legend of Zelda. In fact, to tell you what, you gave me that plush, didn't you? That'd be my favourite thing. You gave me a little plush Link for my Legend of Zelda collection. It's downstairs in the Zelda shrine in the living room. So an item that you gave to me, Joe, is on display in my living room. Take that for what it's worth. I can go for months and not buy anything. So if anything nice turns up, the money's there. That's fair. You're at that stage now where you've been collecting so long, you've probably got everything though, haven't you? And you're just waiting for something nice to turn up. Toy Overdose. Hello there. Collecting on a budget. Be prepared to rummage. Yeah, that's a good point as well.
Also good.
That is a very good point.
Keep your eyes wide. Yeah, because I mean,
I remember years and years and years ago, in my local town, there used to be this market stall that I'd go to, and you could have a really good rummage on there, rummage around the toys that they had on the stall. Couldn't you?
You could. Gareth had good advice. Just don't rush to buy everything. That's yeah. That's something I need to learn. Pay a bit over the odds for complete. It can cost a fortune to piece something together. True.
That's very true.
But just remember how much joy you feel that day when you do land on something that you have been looking for months or years. Just that one little weapon to complete something. It's like, oh!
Or an aerial or something. When you see an auction the next day for the complete thing for a fraction of what you just paid for all the bits.
Yeah, I do wonder. I pointed it out in the Toy Fair video that I've just done, the Bolton one. I'd been past one stall and they had an empty box. It wasn't mint. It was a little bit warm, but an empty box for the vintage Corgi. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes.
And then literally next door but one, they had a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang out of the box. 45 quid and 10 quid for the box. And I'm like, do I do this? Do I buy them and put them together? Like, no, I didn't want to do it. I mean, I think there's a profit there, but I just turned around to the fellow who had the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and just said, look, just down there, mate, they've got the box. If you want to invest a tenner, I'd recommend it.
But the thing is, and I have had that thought process myself in terms of stuff that I might want to move on once I've looked at it. And the question that I have on that, I suppose, is why does the box make that much difference? I think you once said to me that it's because it makes it easier to sell, whether or not it's just sort of presentationally, or is it just from a completion point of view?
I don't think it necessarily does make it easier to sell because it then bumps the price up and puts it out of price point for some collectors.
Interesting.
I mean, I think most collectors would rather have a boxed item over an unboxed item.
And I mean, it's an interesting point because it's like, if you're collecting for the nostalgia or the connection to childhood, then really you should be buying and collecting loose figures or loose toys. But like I say, I think it's probably more the adult side that creeps in, that wants it in the box rather than loose.
Do you think there might be a connection? I mean, we've already discovered tonight that it's not all about nostalgia for me. So I've got to get this from you guys. Do you think there's a nostalgic kick out of when you first got that toy, when it was new, and you had it in box, and you opened it and took the toy out of the box to play with it? Do you think there's anything to do with that involved in wanting boxed items? Because it takes you back to then when you had it brand new in its box.
Well, I mean, for the G1 Transformers stuff, there is like a little bit of nostalgia in the fact that, back in the day, back in '84, going to the local Asda or Toy Master or wherever, and basically seeing all these Transformers in the boxes on the shelf. It was like it was a nirvana. It was just like it looked real nice.
And you could see them.
Yeah, you could see them. But me personally, again, more for the G1 side of stuff, I think the reason why I won't say collect because I've got them now, but why I collected my box G1 stuff was because I really do like the artwork on them. I like the designs and the artwork on the box. So that's why I collected those. The newer stuff, like the Masterpiece stuff, had I the space to display them, display the figures, I'm not sure if I would keep all the boxes, but space limitations necessitates keeping them boxed so I can store them, without getting damaged. the only ones that I definitely would keep are the boxes for the Mastermind Creations Perfection series.
They are nice boxes.
The boxes on those are really nice because they've got that. There's a bit of a G1 Transformers vibe, but they're more influenced by the old Diaclone boxes as well. So there's some nice.
Which are the ones in the white boxes with the blue background to the artwork?
That's the Perfection series.
Yeah, I thought so. They always look to me like they belong in a pharmacy. The packaging, it looks soapy to me.
Yeah.
It looks like the cosmetics.
But I'll tell you what I remember about the G1 boxes though, which again was a thing for me. I don't disagree about the artwork either at all, but actually, I always enjoyed the tech spec on the back.
Yeah,
because it gave you a little bit of bio on the Autobot or Decepticon concern, which I always found really interesting. And then there was that little anticipation when you got home about putting your sheet of red plastic over it to see how strong or fast or intelligent it actually was. So if you were a child that was that way wired,
you had a similar thing with G.I. Joe, didn't you? There was a similar thing with G.I. Joe.
Oh, was there? Oh, right.
Very different thing. It weren't tech specs, but it was like a write-up of the character. It gave you a bio of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got. I'll just see if I can enlarge myself. No.
You're touching yourself in the wrong place. There you are.
So that's Perfection series. That's Kojin. So that's like the Artfire, Target Master Artfire. That's the one that Mastermind. And this one's more of a G1 inspired box, with the red and the grid work on it. So that's that one. They're really nice. But then you've got that, which is very much Diaclone.
They're not what I'm meaning. The ones I'm meaning, where that's orange, it's blue, pale blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
All my figures as kids never had a box or.
Look at the size of his shuttle.
Those ones.
Yes. Yeah. See that I can just see on the shelf in a pharmacy. It's like should have a bar of soap or bubble bath in there.
You're going to put the mighty road crane in a pharmacy.
I love them. I really do like those boxes. I think they look really nice. But
that one was a gift. That was a gift. That one,
Wasn't for me.
No, it wasn't. No, that was a Christmas gift when it first came out. Was that
Starbird Adventure had box, so bought with box. Fair enough. Packaging reminds me of seeing them in the shops.
And that one was a crowdfunding one for that one.
Ah, interesting.
Okay.
And it came with, if I can get access to it. It's there, yes. So you get the Target Master, which is there.
Right, okay. Is that Fracas?
If you backed it at the right point. I see I've started something now, haven't I?
Started an unboxing video, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. This hasn't been out at box for years. You got this.
All right.
There we go.
And that's a soap sample. That takes me back. Do you remember the little bars of soap that they had at school?
Yeah.
The mini ones.
Gareth will know why I appreciate this.
Watch out, Dave. What did I tell you?
There we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yeah. So yes, if you backed it, if you're like an early backer, you got that little translucenty thing. But yeah, no, they do some nice boxes. There are some nice boxes, but yeah, you might be right. Some people may collect because of the nostalgia of having the toy when it was, when they first got it and opening the box and stuff.
Dave says it's nice.
Oh, thank you, Dave. There's plenty more.
It needs to be on a shelf.
From.
Phil says it needs to be on a shelf. Joe's asked an interesting one. Which famous person do you not want to meet?
Do you not want to meet?
Yeah. Which famous person do you not want to meet? I don't know. There's loads of them.
Yes, I think you have to be careful here because you don't want to open yourself to a lawsuit.
Yeah. I'll write a list and give it you.
Answers on a postcard. There you go.
Yeah. Either one of Jedward. Trump. Oh, no, I'd love to meet Trump. Just shake his hand and say, "Well done on beating the odds twice, mate." Now go and do your best. Antar deck.
I don't know. Who would I not want to meet? I don't think I want. I don't think I'm bothered about meeting any celebrities really.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
It's not.
I think he's probably trying to put a different spin on who would you want to meet, but
yeah, it might burst your bubble somewhat as well, mightn't it? It's kind of meeting any of them could be a bit of a letdown potentially. It's
that thing. You never meet your heroes. Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, someone I'd like to meet.
Oh, Mario says that's cool, Ed. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Mario.
The cast of Gavin and Stacey, particularly one dude.
I think for me, if I could meet someone, they'd obviously need to be resurrected, but it'd be Eric Markham.
Eric Markham.
Eric Markham.
Okay.
My comedy hero, Eric Markham. I'd like to meet him.
Interesting.
Oh, what's that? What's that other bloke? No, I can't think. But yeah, Eric Markham.
I'd like to go for a pint or a glass of wine, probably knowing what he's like with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, he'd be sharp.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, I think the thing is though with comedians, I think you have this mental image or something that you probably find out that maybe they're not funny. Actually just in person. It's one of those things. I
think it'd be more of a case of I'd want to make him laugh.
Yeah. You turn it on for work. Work, it's just like. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look back over time, a lot of like comedians are like, either bipolar or they've got some form of depression or things like that. Kevin Smith. Yeah, I don't think I want to meet Kevin Smith now.
I would actually. I'd like to meet Kevin Smith. Yeah, because
he's got a lot of knowledge, Kevin Smith.
No. He is the self-appointed king of the nerds, and I want to tell him he's no king of mine. Yeah, Robin Williams, definitely. Yeah.
I'd like to have met him back during his Dogma days.
Yeah. Well, seems as Ed started the ball rolling on the show and tell, have you got out to show us today, Andy?
Apart from my many. Well, no, this is the only one I'd really sort of.
I'd like to meet Gordon the Gopher. I bet he's got some stories to tell about that.
That was anything I'd really brought up to show in terms of.
Good man, Joshie. Good man. Oh,
hang on. How do I pick me then?
I don't know. You've cut us down. If I do that and then that, will that work?
There we go. Well done. Yeah, so I mean, this is one of the first things that really sort of immediately just grabbed me when I went into Cosmic Toys. It was just I'd never seen anything this size. It was pre-painted, sort of Star Trek wise, and I've always had a bit of a soft spot for the bird of prey. And it is fully sort of electronic, and I am constant as the northern star. It still works, even though I left the batteries in it, which is silly. But yeah, it's just really, really cool. And the wings are variable geometry and stuff as well. Got a nice stand on it. It's all good stuff. So yeah, it's cool. Great big chunky bird of prey. Me likey. So yes, I haven't got I'm waiting for a few things to come through. Well, a couple of things to come through actually, but I don't have anything immediately to hand. I'm afraid because I was in a bit of a rush to sit down this evening. So.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Have you got anything else to show us, Ed?
I've only one new purchase. I've got some stuff arriving later in the week. Well, I've got Missing Link, Bumblebee, and Cliff Jumper arriving tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I think it's probably going to be later in the week, maybe early next week. I've got Fantastic Model Ma, which is Fans Toys Ultra Magnus. And then New Age Varan toy version, which is New Age's version of Snarl, Dinobot Snarl. But no, the only thing that I've purchased recently is
the Spectrum.
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 How did I know?
So yeah, that's the only thing that I've bought recently. I originally ordered it from Amazon, but Amazon, it must have been a bulk email or notification because everyone I know that had pre-ordered it with Amazon all got the same response that they had no stock, so it was going to be delayed December or January. So, so I immediately cancelled my order, and I got it the next day from Smith's, which really, really interesting, really surprised me. I ordered this at something like 5:30 on an evening from Smith's Toys. It was in my hand by dinner time the next day, which was like absolutely, I just couldn't get my breath.
It's 2024.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, it's sort of like their delivery windows,
There
like
you
2
go.
3 days.
Palp's got his from Amazon. He ordered it in August.
I think this time of year they're just at maximum speed, aren't they? It's,
Well, the thing is, I did the same. I ordered mine on Amazon the day it dropped, and I must have, me and others must have just been in that window that were told that they had no stock. What's that?
Yeah, Dave's saying it must be nice for you to finally get the chance to play some Spectrum games.
Yeah, it is. It is. You don't know how long, Dave, I've been going wanting to play Spectrum games. It's
Good
just
night,
like,
Dave. You take care, mate. Sleep tight.
See you later. But no, it's a nice little. I've had it fired up. They've done a really good job with it. I mean, obviously it's emulation. It's not original hardware, but
is it mini?
Pardon?
Is it mini? Like all the other retro ones are all smaller than the originals, aren't they?
Because I did that. I was pondering getting myself the Amiga one of these, but I was then thinking, but what happens with the mouse and the keyboard? It's like,
Well, on the Amiga Mini, the Amiga Mini, you can't use the keyboard, but you can plug in a USB keyboard.
Right.
The mouse works. It comes with a gamepad as well.
Oh, okay.
Right, Palps has beaten you to it, Ed. It's 1-1 scale. That's all we needed to know. Thank you very much.
I want to show you it's a very nice box. There you go. So that's the inner box.
Phil's got the Amiga Mini. It's good.
Cool.
And then,
I get a BBC, but they probably won't because it's not gaming enough from their point of view.
You get a little instruction booklet.
Oh, look what it says, isn't it? Spectrum!
Modelled after the original. You get a specially produced Crash Micro, which reviews and gives you details of the 48 games that come pre-installed. And then the Spectrum itself
unboxing.
is... There you go.
Oh,
cool.
It's good.
So it is 1:1 scale then.
Yeah, so you got your ports at the back. Yeah, 1:1 scale.
How many USB ports has it got?
I'll just pick one. I'll just pick one of many off the shelf. So yeah, so that's 1:1
There's
scale.
rumours of a BBC or Acorn coming.
Interesting.
Dave says it looks nice.
I'd be interested in the Acorn.
Yeah,
Looks cool.
definitely.
I wasn't rich enough back in the day for a BBC micro.
They weren't cheap, no. But my school flummoxed my parents into buying one because they said they'd be teaching us how to use them. They lied.
Yeah, it depends which one you got. I mean, if you got the Model A or Model B, Model B was the pricier of the two.
Yes, I got the B.
And then you've got a little box
boy.
there with your cables in.
The irony was I ended up teaching school how to use the BBC B. That was the irony. Yeah. I thought they bought a turtle for it and they had no idea what to do with it. So I wrote a program to allow people to control it.
Right.
Day. So yeah, there you go.
Talking of controlling things, this is a bit of an aside. Does anyone ever remember a toy line called Cap Seller?
Yes. I have 2 boxed examples downstairs.
Oh, you've got some. You've got some. Have you?
Yes. I'm not sure I've ever actually put them on a video though. But they've been sat there for God knows how long. Because I mentioned them when I got them, but I don't think I ever really actively did something with them.
Do you get Sam Fox's strip poker?
No, I've never played it. Yeah, Micromen is a brilliant docudrama. I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but it's close. It's very, very close. And you can watch it. It's free to watch on YouTube. I think they've got a 1080p version on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because the BBC's never released it on DVD or Blu-ray. And they've not shown it. I think the last time it was shown on, I think it was 2013, maybe. I think the last time it was shown. It's been a long time since it was last shown.
I saw a picture of it the other day. I don't know if it was just like a YouTube thumbnail or something. I don't know, but it does ring a bell with me for some reason. Did you want me to get some Capsella?
It's up to you if you want to get some. But I only had one set, like it because it was this clear plastic modular thing, wasn't it, with motors and wires and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll go and see if I can pull it out of the drawer. Hang on.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because some people may not know what we're talking about.
Well, I've got no idea whatsoever.
What capsule is it?
Yeah, but while he's disappeared, I'll do my show and tell. I say show and tell. It's not a show and tell, but it's kind of is, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. I had a parcel arrive just before we went live. Original bag that this thing came in. Not very interesting, but look what it says on it. Maru-san! So you can guess what this is probably going to be, can't you? That's the header for it. Wonderful vintage artwork, even though it is a 2022 piece. And it's Hedera, or Hedora, or the smog monster, you might want to call it. Look at that. It's actually a translucent plastic with glitter in it.
Right.
But it is painted over with metallic paint.
Right.
So you can't see, you can only see the glitter in certain places.
Yeah.
Mostly on the toes. I don't know if you can see it there, but you can just about see it in the toes. But yeah, I kind of like this. It's I wouldn't have bought it because Maru-san don't come cheap, so this didn't come cheap. A little cheaper than they normally go for because I don't know if it'll show up on camera. There's some crinkling in the paintwork.
All
Right.
right.
Yeah, can you just about see that?
A little bit.
Yeah. So they had discounted it by about 25% because of that. I thought, well, I'm not going to go scratching at that paint, so So I've got myself a Marusan Hedorah to go with my Godzillas. And that's all I've got to show. Now, there might be some nice things to show next time because I have just ordered myself a Christmas present from the same place.
Right.
And it's something that you will love as well, Eddie.
Is it? What you've ordered?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's another Zoids. Is it Zoidzilla Godulus?
All right.
But it's made out of translucent plastic.
Right.
It's crystal clear plastic, and all I'm thinking about is putting little lights in it.
Yeah. Is it already built?
No, it's unbuilt.
Wow.
Don't build it. It will shatter. No, seriously, it will shatter. If you go back and watch one of my collector's archives, I chat with a chap who has the translucent ones,
Right?
And he says, he says, I don't even breathe on it.
Oh,
Right. Okay.
I remember this. Because what was it? It was something else I've seen this about as well. Someone saying, I think Jonathan Ross described these things as breaky.
Yeah,
because they were just
translucent plastic in general is.
Yeah.
And
So,
Zoids in general are.
Yeah. It'd be a nice piece to leave boxed, I think.
So
Yep.
now
That's
this interestingly, I think is actually much later than the ones that I had back in the 80s. This is a reimagining. Well, not reimagining, but it's a reissue of Capsella. But that is what the original looked like in that image there.
Yeah.
And this was great because I used to use it had some of these little plastic modules you had sort of motors in. So you could link them to propellers and things. So I used to put it on the sea. So I would put it in in a sort of rock pool, and use those yellow floats then, and you could just sort of whiz around with its yellow floats. It was just really good, imaginative, engineering-y type stuff, So that's there's some more examples there of things you can do with it.
Yeah, I think the original one that I had, like say probably early mid 80s, it was like a dark blue box.
I've got another box downstairs which is older. Yeah.
I'm getting strong Meccano vibes from that.
Yeah, I don't know who did the original version. This one's got VTech links apparently according to the box. I'll have to do a video on this. I say I'm not sure why I haven't done a video yet. It's just one of those things where I sort of stored it and then never quite got on my to-do list, So that's what one of the little so they got these sort of hexagon sort of joins that you just sort of slot into the into the sort of receiving sockets and so on. But that was just a buoyancy thing. So it's cleverly done.
You got to be careful where you shove that. It might be difficult to get back out.
Indeed.
The other thing I got mine.
I got mine from the Science Museum, I think, originally.
Yeah. I got mine from there's a place there's a place called Falmouth down in Cornwall, and in Falmouth they have a shop called Trago.
You've never mentioned this before.
No, this has never come up.
No, and I got mine from there, from this Trago Mills, which is also where I got my
never mentioned that before either.
10T Lego sets.
It's not Lego.
Yeah. Well, not Lego. 10T, not Lego, which isn't compatible with Lego.
No. Even remotely.
No, not remotely. And I'm quite surprised how the prices that 10T stuff goes for these days.
It's dirt cheap. I picked it up fairly cheaply. I can't remember it being that expensive.
Maybe it's the sets. I'm looking at the robot sets. The converting robot ones.
It might be the boxes or the complete set aspect of it that's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, they are beautiful. I mean, there's such creative stuff. I mean, the robots and the spaceships and stuff are brilliant.
Yeah.
The artwork on the boxes and stuff is brilliant. It's just really cool stuff.
I also liked the aircraft carriers they did as well, because they had like little
ships. Yeah. All sorts.
So then, guys, really important question of the night that Joe has posed to us. Who do you think would win in a fight between Nerds Kevin or Will Wheaton?
Will's got the age advantage, I would say. Doesn't Kevin weigh virtually nothing these days? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy?
I'm assuming he's talking about Kevin Smith. I don't know.
I assume so.
I would assume he's talking about Kevin Smith, yeah. I don't know.
Kevin's been ill.
Yeah, isn't he really thin? Am I thinking the right? Is he
Kevin's lost loads of weight,
yeah.
He had a heart attack. Kevin Smith, yeah, he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
There you are. Kevin's been ill, so Wheaton's going to win.
But as far as I'm aware of, he's all recovered now. He's all okay. But it kind of, I think it kind of changed him a bit as a filmmaker and a writer.
Mm.
You know, and I think it's reflected in some of his films. You know, like his. But then again, I mean, it's a while ago. When it first came out, Clerks 3. I one or two little things, but I did actually enjoy it. It was a good film. I did enjoy it.
I'm not sure I've caught up with it yet, actually.
It's what?
Go.
No, what are you saying?
I was going to say that's something I suggested for us to discuss tonight, isn't it? I'm assuming you might have done, Ed, but have you seen the new Star Wars series yet, Andy? Skeleton Crew.
I did my homework, sir. Curse you. It made me late to bed last night.
I'm sorry. It didn't make it that late because it's not that long.
Depends when you start watching it. Yeah, I've watched episodes 1 and 2. I would describe it as Goonies meets Explorers.
Okay. Have you seen it yet, Ed?
I lasted about minutes and then I turned it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not for me.
I know why you would.
It's made for kids.
Yeah, I know why you would have done, but if you can tolerate the saccharine sweetness for a little while, it does start to develop.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of the opening bit where the silver helmet guys, not word for word, but he's pretty much saying what Vader says to Captain Antilles when they board the Tantive 4. You know, when he's got him pinned up against, and this, like, you know, what, you know, where is the things that you are hiding? You know, we've monitored this. It's like something very familiar about this, you know. But no, it's I don't know. It just.
Well, I think that's the point, isn't it? I mean, George Lucas said it himself. It's poetry. It all comes back in rhymes.
I could understand for characters that are related within a family or something like that, but no, I mean, maybe I'll go back to it, but I wasn't. I can't say I was immediately impressed with it.
Okay. No, I weren't impressed with it, but I enjoyed it. There was nothing about it that I disliked.
No, it was. Yeah, it was interesting to my mind because it's the first time I think that I've seen Disney expressly aim a live action Star Wars series at a kid's level to be enjoyed by kids for what it is as a story. It's going to be pirates in space. Yeah, it's very, very blatantly pirates in space, basically. And as daft as that sounds in the Star Wars universe, it could actually work quite effectively if it's managed in a sensible fashion.
I got a very strong Firefly vibe with the opening, you know, like with the pirates and the way they were described, you know, the little write-up. I thought it's the Reavers, you know, where they sort of like attack other ships and they have the ships all, you know, painted up and stuff like that.
It's more sort of less disciplined version of bounty hunters / mercenaries, really. It's you know,
it's not Reavers.
No, it's not as scary as that.
No, it's not Reavers. Yeah,
but it was what was
the prospect of Reavers is terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, what was interesting, I thought, was that, you know, they were actually sort of the reason that guy clearly got sort of pasted was the fact that he lost a lot of people trying to take that ship.
Mm-hmm.
because they actually had very sensible defenses set up to catch the boarders, where clearly they were obviously going to board. So, but then I thought that the sort of the Wolfie kind of character was also pretty convincing in terms of just how ruthlessly good a shot he was as well. So I quite liked his character setup. I thought, yeah, fair dues. That's actually, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, the more and more I'm seeing of Star Wars content that's set, but the stories that are set within the era of the New Republic, it's like, did they actually win? Because it's like, they haven't got a grip on the galaxy that they've inherited from the Empire. I mean, obviously things were a lot better run under the Empire.
Well, yeah, that was it, wasn't it? The Empire was order.
Yeah.
That is everything that the Empire was. They were order. The rebellion is chaos.
Yeah, and now the New Republic's taken over, and nothing's working. Everything just sort of like
So in all fairness, the expanded universe that we had before that was exactly the same.
Was it?
Yes. So there's nothing new there.
No.
Even back then, it was always a struggle to try to keep control, and they were always, even 20 years later, I think they were still calling it the fledgling New Republic because they were still struggling to keep control.
Because the outer rim sort of area, beyond the sort of the core systems, is always going to be the outer wilds kind of situation where they haven't got the resource to patrol everything constantly all the time. So you're bound to have wilder areas. It's inevitable. So yeah.
I was a little bit thrown by how close to Earth suburbs that this planet looked.
I think that's fully intentional because you're supposed to be able to draw the parallels between them and normal kids today.
Yeah, I know. I
traveling around in the electrics cars on the tracks.
Yeah, and I did think, hang on a minute, this seems like quite a wise society. What are they doing giving their kids bikes that can move that bloody fast?
Well, they've got a lot of droids to stop the kids doing silly things, but clearly this is not a normal planet as well.
Maybe the thing is as well is
like
it's
some
like
kind of experiment, isn't it?
Maybe, but that was one of the things that didn't gel for me is the fact that it's just like it just didn't look alien enough. Because they've made it too relatable. Yeah, too much like our. Well, maybe
Well, it's not like
an
Coruscant,
idealized version of our society.
Yeah, it's not like Coruscant, which we've been used to seeing, and it's not as wild as Tatooine. It's not as civilized as Coruscant. It's not as tech heavy as Coruscant is. It's somewhere in the middle. It's kind of a golden age kind of planet where they've kept the natural environment, but it's working alongside.
It's kind of tech. It's almost like a kind of. Like a technologically.
You literally see the parent of the kid in both of those episodes.
He's very much like he's got a very 1950s American suburban vibe to it. A bit like a technical version of the sort of like the suburb that you see in Edward Scissorhands. Kind of thing.
I think they're going for. Do you know Aldous Huxley's Brave New World? I think they're going for a sort of an engineered society kind of route because it's how the kids seem to get pigeonholed at a very early age based on one exam into particular career paths.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing that's kind of a slightly pre-programmed thing. So basically, the big master computer says we need X number of these, X number of those. Let's make sure we get the output we need from the kids. This generation to fill those gaps, and work is clearly a big driver for them based on what his dad's like. So you get the impression that the isolation from the rest of the universe means they've got a very controlled system in place on the planet to try and keep the balances going. So
is the word you're looking for socialism?
Well, I don't know what you call that though. I don't know. Is that or is that something more structured? I don't know.
Marxist Leninism, communism.
Richard, we're currently talking about the new Star Wars series, Skeleton Crew. First 2 episodes are on Disney Plus right now. No, there was not. Like I said, there was nothing about it that I didn't like. I won't say that I did like it because going into Stranger Things, there was.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
It's built on the success of Stranger Things. But
Well,
even going into Stranger Things, I was struggling at the start because I struggle with children-led things. I struggle with Goonies. I struggle with ET because the kids just can't act. And that's why Stranger Things was quite good for me, because most of the, not all of them, but most of those kids, they put a character on screen. I thought they were quite good actors, and this is still to win me over with the acting of the kids.
I think the hook with Stranger Things though was, like, for me personally, I mean, the characters that we're watching were roughly, give or take a year or two, about the age I was at that time. So there was a lot of things. There was a lot of things that I could kind of identify with, like the way that mates, friends talk to each other and the kind of things you get up to, and things like, and also the freedoms that you had as a kid back then, which kids these days just don't have.
Joe, I think this series is specifically aimed at your mental age.
Poor Joe. He gets a rough
I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I mean it though.
No, the thing is though, I mean, I don't think it's a case of maybe outgrown Star Wars, but maybe some people are just outgrowing bad Star Wars. Maybe they've just been burnt too many times with some of the content that's been released, up to press.
But again, it's volume. It's like sort of. This feels to me like it could be Star Wars trying not to be traditional Star Wars, exploring the wider universe a bit more, because we haven't seen Stormtroopers or Empire or New Republic. It's going outside of that on purpose, clearly, for the time being, at least. So we're getting a slightly different facet of it.
But don't you think that Star Wars is always most popular when it just does Star Wars?
I'm sure it will come around.
The prequels did Star Wars, and everyone hated them at the time.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people changed their mind on that now.
Well,
and for the record, I'll just go. I never hated the prequels.
If they hadn't screamed and shouted so much back then, we might not be getting this now.
Well, I mean, I never understood. Well, anyway, yeah, maybe that's a topic for another one. But yeah, I never disliked the prequel trilogy when it came out. But it's just one of them things. But I think
That's an interesting comment. Martin, original trilogy for me with a hint of Rogue One and Solo. So he actually likes the Solo film. That's cool.
So, but again, see, that's wider. It's the wider universe.
Yeah, I liked the Solo film for the most part. It was just that droid L3 that I didn't like, and sticking her in, retroactively making her the brain of the Falcon. What the hell are you thinking?
I'm not a fan of Solo.
For the most part, I enjoyed the film. The sequel trilogy did not make the prequels better.
Interesting.
No, I didn't. I've never read that, Joe. And I'd be very surprised if you read it.
But I have to say,
L3, yeah.
But I was getting so many vibes from different childhood 80s films, and maybe that was actually partly what they were going for as well, because people like me would then be interested in it from a nostalgia point of view, because like you say, we've had films like Goonies, Explorers, E.T., where the kids are the centerpiece, and we remember that now in our age, looking back, and they went off and had adventures and did extraordinary things with their bikes, and slightly older siblings and everything else, and had a mentor, or it's quite a clever way of doing it, because we've seen them do it with, I guess, with kind of like the younglings, with sort of not Ahsoka perhaps so much, but this is going even further back, i.e. these are proper sort of, younger kids. But I thought that some of the interplay between the kids was already quite sort of interesting, because, the female lead sort of kid, she's kind of vibing, they're kind of bouncing off each other quite effectively, I think. So I kind of bought that, that
She
they were
needs a
sort
slap.
of, huh?
She needs a slap.
Well, does she though? Because actually, she's got her head screwed on a damn sight more than the boys have. So as I say, it's kind of. But then equally, he wasn't being completely gullible with her, because he could see that she was after stuff as well. So that it was just that sort of interplay between them. I did find, and then they both got their own sidekicks as well and stuff. It's quite clever. Cocoon batteries not included. Yeah.
I think just. Final point I'll make on Solo is I think I probably would have enjoyed Solo better if they'd have got a different actor to play Han Solo. I mean, I've always said they should have got Anthony and Gruber to play Solo in that film.
Did you like the origin of Jan's surname? And who's Jan?
No, he's just it was autocorrect.
Right, okay, yeah.
No,
it was totally unnecessary. That didn't need to be in there.
No,
it didn't need to be in there at all. It didn't need a scene at all. Didn't that?
I mean, if you watch a film called Age of Adeline, and it's got Anthony and Gruber in it playing a young Harrison Ford, and it's absolutely spot on. Even he looks and sounds just like what
he does. But he was hired on the basis that he does an impression of Harrison Ford. And I remember even having this discussion with you when Solo was coming out. I still stand by the fact that he can only do an impression of Harrison Ford. I don't think he can play Han Solo. I think it's more than just an impression to play him.
Yeah, but that's what actors do. Actors pretend to be a person and a character. He would have been able to do it. He would have been, because it was.
From my point of view, for him to play Han Solo, they would have to get Harrison Ford in to do all the scenes. Him watch Harrison Ford and then him copy what he's just seen.
Yeah, but if you
do that for Solo,
if you go to this Anthony and Gruber's YouTube channel and watch his stuff that he's done, he does do Harrison Ford. He does do Han Solo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how he's made.
Stuff that he's seen Harrison Ford do.
Pardon?
It's all stuff that he's seen Harrison Ford do. It's not.
Yeah, but
he doesn't do that copying rather than inventing, I think.
Yeah, but that's what impressionists do. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they give him a brand new script that Harrison Ford has never done, he can't do that version of Han Solo because he's never seen Harrison Ford do it.
No, but he can though, can't he? Because he can impersonate Harrison Ford and he can impersonate Han Solo, so then he will be able to do it. That's what actors do. It's like saying
he's not a good actor. He's just an impersonator. He's not a good actor. He's just an impersonator of Harrison Ford.
But what you're measuring his ability to act against?
On what I've seen of him.
Really? What have you seen that he's done?
Well, Age of Adeline, as you've suggested, I've watched several clips from that. I won't watch the film because it just doesn't interest me. And everything else I've seen online.
Right, okay. So snippets of stuff rather than
snippets of stuff.
Thing. Yeah.
It tells me whether or not.
The thing is, though, I mean, you could say that about any actor taking a part. I mean, you could say Eddie Redmayne when he played Stephen Hawking in, The Theory of Everything. Stephen Hawking didn't act in that film or didn't do those scenes, so how could Eddie Redmayne know how to portray him?
That's what I'm saying. Eddie Redmayne acted. He didn't impersonate.
Well,
I think
he
that
did impersonate him, though.
But I think Gareth's saying that there's. I think what he's trying to get across here is that there's a difference between
being pedantic. That's what he's being.
No. I think in fairness, I think what he's saying is that there's a slight difference between someone who is a professional actor and could create a character from scratch based on their own interpretation of a script, versus someone whose skill set is primarily impersonation of an individual and their mannerisms rather than being a creation of their own imagination.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I mean, that's
drawing.
That's what a script is for. So basically he could have gone into that role, used what Harrison Ford did in the original trilogy as a basis of that, and then added his own whatever onto it. Yeah.
What you're wanting is someone to do what Donald Glover did in the same film.
Oh, what? Sorry.
You're wanting what you're wanting from Anthony and Gruber to do what Donald Glover did in exactly the same film.
No, you see,
he didn't. From my point of view, and everyone thought he was brilliant, and I didn't. He impersonated Billy D. Williams' version of Lando Calrissian. He didn't bring anything original to his version of Lando Calrissian whatsoever. I just saw an impersonation all the way through that film of of Billy's Lando Calrissian. There was nothing new. It was except 15, 20 years before? And the personality is exactly the same. Is your personality the same as what it was 20 years ago?
In fairness to the actor, though,
give or take one or two idiosyncrasies, I'd say yeah.
but the thing is,
I'm not.
But the thing is, the actor has also got to follow the direction from the director, because if the director says play it like he was in Empire Strikes Back, then he's kind of obliged contractually to do it like he was in Empire Strikes Back. So the director has a degree of control. It may not always be in the actor's discretion as to how they choose to play.
I mean, it's ironic, really, because you ended up with Alden Ehrenreich doing an impersonation of Harrison Ford in the film.
See, I thought he made the part his own.
Nah,
I don't feel in that film like he's copying Harrison Ford. I feel like he's trying to be Han Solo rather than copying Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford is Han Solo. That's what I'm saying. Of course, he's got to copy Harrison Ford doing Han Solo, because that's the basis of the character. Yeah. It's not like you
watch Harrison Ford play Han Solo, and then you watch him play Indiana Jones. They're two totally different characters, and they come across very differently. And then you watch him playing the President of the United States in other films. It's a different character altogether. And I've always said that Harrison Ford can only play three people. I don't think he's a particularly good actor. He can play Han Solo, he can play Indiana Jones, and he can play Harrison Ford. And copying Harrison Ford is not playing Han Solo. And that's what Anthony Gruber does. He just copies Harrison Ford.
But you have to copy. If you're playing the same character, you to some degree, you need to copy the originated
I think you need to take on some mannerisms and whatnot and use that as a starting point. But I still think you need to make the part your own. I mean, did Michael Gambon copy Richard Harris when he took on the part of Dumbledore?
No, he didn't, no.
And yet my version of Dumbledore, if I'm watching those films, it's Michael Gambon. At least I can hear what he bloody well says.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, fundamentally, also, he's playing a much younger Han Solo who hasn't been through as much and seen as much and everything else as the Han Solo we then see in the later film. So he should have some margin of discretion in terms of how he chooses to play a younger Han Solo. I mean, yes, still Han Solo, but it's not the same Han Solo. So,
it'd be a lot more reckless and not as savvy, I would imagine. No experience, a lot less experience. Well, no experience, yeah. That's my thing, anyway. Oh, Phil agrees with me. Let's have a look what people are saying. I got as far as there. Solo was just okay, not bad, not great. It's fair enough. Hated Lando in it. I was the same. Another thing I've never watched is the new Indiana Jones. Yeah, I've not watched that either. Eddie is a good actor, though. Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. He should be the Doctor. He's my ideal casting for the Doctor. Only thing wasn't needed in Solo was Darth Maul at the end. Yeah, they kind of stuck that on there to lead to something that they never went to, unless you want to read some comics. Could anybody impersonate Gareth? I suppose some people could. I don't know why they'd want to. It's not going to get them anywhere in life. I agree with Gareth on this. He was good in so. Oh, thank you. Thank you. What about Harrison in Blade Runner? He plays Harrison Ford. Go on, what's your take on that one, Ed?
What?
I do actually need to watch Blade Runner again. What do you think of Harrison in Blade Runner? How do you think he plays that?
Well, I'm going to be biased. I like Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just Blade Runner. You know, it's just Decker in Blade Runner. But the thing is with movie stars that are as big or as popular as like Harrison Ford's and things like that, you're always going to see the actor first rather than the character, yeah, because they're recognizable. It's like if we bring it down to something like something more recent, like the Transformers 1 movie, yeah,
right, yeah.
It's like I'm not knocking
Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. I'm not knocking him, you know, because I like him playing Thor. Yeah, he does a good Thor. But watching Transformers 1, it's just like, it's Chris Hemsworth. You know, it's just like, you know,
it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult when he's played one character for so long.
Yeah.
And that's inevitably what you immediately jump to. It's hard that, I get that.
I think some actors are just difficult to separate from the persona. It's like, there was the thing years ago with like Hugh Grant. You know, Hugh Grant bounced from film to film playing Hugh Grant or playing a particular character that was made popular by Hugh Grant. Yeah. You know, so it's like, you know, I think there is a lot of...
He's actually a good actor in and of himself, isn't he?
Pardon?
He's actually a decent actor in and of himself when he turns to different things.
You know, I think that he bounced from a few different films where he's pretty much just the same character, you know, in different films. You know, then I think really you need like, you know, chameleon type actors, you know, people like Johnny Depp's, you know, who can be in different films and, you know, come across as completely different people. Yeah. You know, I think, you know, so I think, I mean, I think there is a point where, like I say, Harrison Ford.
He's brilliant in Rush.
Yeah, no, he's good in Rush. Yeah. I mean, he's a
very good arsehole, because that's not what he plays. He plays an arsehole.
Whoa. Oh, hang on a minute. Whoa. Easy, Tiger. Let's back off on that. James Hunt was a good chap. Chris Hemsworth didn't get James Hunt fully. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that they couldn't put in that film. You know, and to be fair, there's a good, I don't know, maybe 70-75% of that film that didn't really happen that way or didn't happen at all.
But he's not a womanizer. He's not a drug addict. He's not into all that horrible, nasty stuff.
He was never a drug addict, no.
No? Was he an alcoholic or something? There was something where he ended up losing control.
He enjoyed a drink, but he wasn't, I wouldn't say he was alcoholic. He enjoyed the women. He enjoyed his women. But there were certain...
In that film, he treated people like shit. To me, that's an arsehole.
No. What you've got to understand is sort of like people in that kind of sport, in Formula One drivers, they are absolutely laser focused and so self-absorbed and self-centered and selfish, which they need to be to get to where they are. They're the pinnacle of motorsport. You know, they need to be like that to get where they are. But I mean, just for sake of example, there's a scene in Rush where Chris Hemsworth as James Hunt drags this reporter to one side into a back room and beats him up, you know, because of a comment that he said to Niki Lauda during a press conference. That never happened. That was just made up for the film, was that? You know, but I understand why it was done. They did it as a shortcut to try and show, like, the growing respect.
They were. Well, I weren't putting one above the other, to be fair. I was just talking about the one that we were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing with films like that. You know, I mean, I think depending on the film you watch, sometimes a film can portray someone in a good light, or it can portray them in a
You've obviously not seen Tropic Thunder.
light.
As I say, I think he probably showed great, or he had the opportunity to show a greater, broader sort of depth of ability earlier in his career. I think once he became an action hero star, you know, an action film star sort of thing, then then you don't see as much from him, I would suggest. Or you do see a lot of this.
Yeah. Well, once he solidified himself as the action star, and frankly, I don't know how, he became the action star, didn't he? He's sort of like the 3-foot action man.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I mean that's I can't remember who it was that said it, but that's the distinction. You have a movie star, and you have actors, and I think Tom Cruise is in that movie star category.
Yes, definitely. And I'd say the same for Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's a movie star. Yeah.
I'd say he's a movie star.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne, on the other hand, I would say is a fucking good actor.
He is a good actor. Yeah, like saying, and like Johnny Depp, who I mentioned earlier, he's a good.
He's a hotshot movie executive in Tropic Thunder. Yeah, exactly. He's cool in Tropic Thunder. Brilliant. That dance at the end. He dragged Nicky out of a burning car, so he wasn't all bad.
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't drag him out of a burning car.
No?
No, it wasn't James Hunt that dragged him out of the car. No.
Well, we're talking about the film.
Yeah, it may have done in the film. I can't. It's been a while since I've seen the film, but yeah, yeah. But no, I understand it's not a documentary.
In every film he's in. Fair enough.
I think that's the thing, though, with films when they say that, when they say based on a true story, it's just like I don't think Hollywood gets it's like.
I think all things that are based on a true story, the ultimate goal is still to entertain. And most true stories are not going to be that entertaining. So they have to elaborate things, they have to change things. There's always going to be adaptations that I mean.
Yes.
You take a book, which has everything in there, beat for beat, that you could possibly need in a movie. They still bloody well change it.
Yeah.
They add things into it and they take stuff out of it. My God, I will never forgive Disney for Artemis Fowl.
Right.
Seriously.
But it's funny, actually. I remember the thing that's I think I'd actually, for some reason, I'd read Philosopher's Stone, because obviously there was a thing about it and I knew the film was coming. But I made a mistake. It's not a mistake, but I read the book, then watched the film. And I was like thinking, that's not in the book. It's like, what? What's going on there? So, it's actually, if that was actually one of the sort of, it would be an interesting academic comparison between what was in the film and what was actually in the book. Because the book was probably a lot simpler. But obviously for the film, they wanted to really sort of lift it.
But I don't think Channing Tatum is either a movie star by traditional standards, and as much as I enjoy what he does, I don't think he's a particularly good actor.
I mean, in that comedy action scenario, it was quite entertaining because apparently he's always wanted to do that. But then Bill says, I literally did not understand a word you just said.
I think in theory, his Gambit film is still technically in development hell.
Well, it's like, Wolverine mentioned Deadpool. I mean, it's like Ryan Reynolds, as much as he is entertaining, he just plays Ryan Reynolds in every film.
Yeah, I don't think he's a very good actor at all. Certainly a movie star.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah, he's become a movie star.
He's carved his own niche. Yeah. He's carved his own niche. Very definitely fair dues to him,
But then again, I'm this is not a slight on Ryan Reynolds because I would put him in the same bracket as Bruce Willis. I don't think Bruce Willis is ever been a good actor. I don't think he's a good actor at all. But boy, does he entertain me in the films that he's in.
Yeah, I think like Bruce Willis. For me personally, I think Bruce Willis peaked with Moonlighting.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, okay, he was good in. I mean, you can't deny it, he was good in Die Hard. Die Hard is a good film, and he was good in that.
I love the first three Die Hards.
But yeah, I think Bruce Willis in Moonlighting, that was just him. That was like, that's what he was best at. That kind of that comedy with a slight bit of drama in kind of thing. But in his later career, there was. Although no, that's saying that though, I thought it was good in Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Okay. See, I like Lucky Number 11 as well. Which, to be fair, obviously it's more of a Josh Hartnett film than it is a Bruce Willis film, but Bruce Willis is good in it, and he says next to nothing in the entire film.
Right.
You beat me to it. I was going to say Moonlighting.
What about
nearly time to watch Die Hard again? Christmas film?
No, it's not a Christmas film.
Is it Sixth Sense?
Stop
He was in? I don't mean that. It's not Sixth Sense.
12 Monkeys, of course.
Yeah, he's in 12 Monkeys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, he's good in that as well.
And you're absolutely spot on there as well, Richard. Brad Pitt's better performances. I never rated Brad Pitt as a good actor until I saw that film. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, God, this guy's got more range than what I thought he had. He's very, very good in that film.
What was the first M. Night Shyamalan film that I'm thinking of with Bruce Willis in?
The what,
Sixth
sorry?
Sense.
Yeah, it was Sixth Sense, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought he was. That was quite. I thought that was well done.
So
as well.
what we're actually finding out, actually, as we talk more, is that actually Bruce Willis isn't that bad in most of the films he's made.
I've said this. He's an entertaining actor. I just don't think he's a very good actor. Most things that he's in, I really enjoy, and I enjoy seeing him in it. I just don't think he's the best performer in the world. He doesn't.
No,
I think Bruce Willis has got a comfort zone. It's not a hugely wide comfort zone, but it's also not this big.
It's called typecasting.
Yeah, and he doesn't go outside that box. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, he can't now, can he? Bless him. I think it's absolutely awful what's happening to him, but it's, it is what it is at the end of the day. Brad Pitt is also great in Snatch and True Romance. Fair enough.
Yeah, True Romance. Bloody hell. I watched that again recently. That is a good film. Is that True Romance?
Slater, that, isn't it?
Yeah, Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. Yeah, it is a good film. Obviously, the story by Quentin Tarantino. He wrote that story and script and sold it so he could make Reservoir Dogs.
Right. Okay.
And then he wrote the script and story for Natural Born Killers and sold that.
Right. Okay.
All great films, all good films.
Okay. Well, we've done 2.5 hours. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
10:30. Any Adam Sandler fans here?
Yeah, I love Wedding Singer.
Nope. Not for me at all.
Yeah, Wedding Singer's a favourite of mine, Dave.
Is he another one that stays within his box? He always anything I've seen him in, he always seems as we're more than 4 seconds in, aren't we? He always seems as thick as pig shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like he plays. I mean, he plays that kind of character, I suppose, in Waterboy, and then like he does play characters. He does play similar characters like in Happy Gilmore and Longest Yard. I mean, another one that is in that I like that nobody seems to like is Pixel.
I don't mind Pixel.
I think it's a great film.
I
don't mind what it used to do.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, I like Pixel. I enjoyed that. I've only watched it the once. Probably will only ever watch it the once, but I enjoyed it. About Loopy.
Have you ever seen Priest?
Paul Bettany.
Paul
Yes.
Bettany.
Yeah. It was all right.
I quite enjoyed it. It's just like it's just a middle of the road sort of action, but it's also got thingy what's in it. Carl Urban, who I always enjoy watching.
See,
I definitely rate Carl Urban. Yeah,
he's a very good actor. He gets right into character.
Yeah.
I watched that. I can't remember the name of it now. What's it called? It's Paul Bettany, but he plays an archangel that comes.
Yes,
down.
that's the other one actually I've seen recently.
Legion. That's it. Yeah. Legion.
Yeah, I want to watch that properly. I've seen clips of it, but I'd really like to watch it properly. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Again. 51st Dates.
It does look quite interesting, actually.
I do remember that. Yes, I did. I saw that before I knew who Adam Sandler was.
It's Drew Barrymore, isn't it, in it with him?
Yeah. No, that was all right. Yeah, I wouldn't say good, but it was all right. Pixel is terrible. I feel sick. Carl Urban in Bourne. Which Bourne was he in?
He wants to see him in Bourne or as Bourne, possibly. I don't know.
No, he's in it. It's
Is it the Jeremy Renner one?
No.
Or is it the one where he comes back?
He was Dredd as well, of course.
Is it Supremacy he's in?
Is he in Supremacy? That's the second one.
I'm not sure. I can't quite string the Bourne films together in my head properly for some reason.
I've got them all, and it's not that it was earlier in the year that I watched them all.
They're a really good precursor to Daniel Craig's James Bond.
Yes, they were. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Daniel Craig's Bond is just James Bond. Yeah. They're just Bond. Yeah.
Like Priest, Carl Urban was a good villain. Yeah. He was wasted in Thor Ragnarok. Okay. Actually, Ant-Man's not bad. I wouldn't say it's a favourite, but it's not bad. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken in anything.
Deer Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, first ever saw him in Batman Returns for me.
All right.
But Suicide Kings is a film I always go back to with him. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tied up in a chair all the way through it.
Have you seen Deer Hunter?
No, I haven't. No.
I've heard of this.
You've heard of Deer Hunter, but not seen it?
Well, I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
Yeah, the Deer Hunter is an absolutely amazing film. It's a really, really good film. It is a real good film. Well,
Supremacy is the Russian. Yes, yeah. I get it now. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, but yeah, he's just a damn good actor. I remember him from, was it Doom that he was in?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, with Rock, with the Rock.
Yes.
Rock. Yeah.
I don't remember it for The Rock. I remember it for Carl Urban. Sandler did Uncut Gems. Good acting for a change. Okay, fair enough. I think probably the second. Clive Owen was in the first. See, he's not bad as well, to be fair. Clive Owen. I don't think he's had a chance to really shine.
No.
Oh, good night, Mario. You take care, mate. Look after yourself.
That's a deep cut.
Sarah Jessica Parker in Flight of the Navigator.
I know exactly where that scene is, though. I know what he means.
Yeah, it's where the army base, and she's guiding a robotic food trolley, and you see some Transformers on his bed. I think there's Jazz and there's Kickback. I tell you what else I've seen Transformers as well.
Plays a good Gabriel.
This week I've gone back to watch Reacher on Amazon Prime.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And in the second season, they're in a diner and they're on some laptops. And on the laptops, there's like, I think it's Thundercracker, there's an Autobot insignia, and the Soundwave stickers on the laptop.
On the laptop. Funny.
Yeah, he's another one, isn't he, Christopher Walken, who's a little bit typecast.
He does play. He plays a good bad guy.
Yeah,
he was in Sleepy Hollow, wasn't he? As the Horseman.
He was, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's another favourite of Tim Burton, isn't he? Sarah Jessica Parker in Seabiscuit. Oh wait, that was the horse. Yeah, she does look like a horse, doesn't she? Yeah.
Oh, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, don't be like that.
She's in Footloose as well. And that's a cracking film, is Footloose.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon.
See, I've never seen it, and
no.
I don't think I would get out of it what you guys got out of it if I was to watch it now.
If he could turn back time.
Yeah.
Well, you know my feelings, tongue in cheek, about your views on movies. This is a guy who doesn't like RoboCop.
Grab it, punk.
You know, one of these days he'll realise that the reason I probably didn't like it is because he made me watch it when I didn't want to, and then kept pausing it every 5 seconds to talk about it.
I have never watched it with you.
Yes, you have.
I have never watched RoboCop with you.
Yes, you have. The only time I've seen it is at your house.
No, I can honestly say I've never watched RoboCop with you.
Only time I've seen it is at your house.
Well, it must be someone else you've watched it with, because it wasn't me. Because the reason why I haven't watched it with you because you said you didn't like it.
No, and you did the same with Blade Runner.
When he says,
I've never watched Blade Runner with you either.
You have.
Ed hasn't,
and you're saying, look at this bit here. Pause.
Ed hasn't watched it with you.
Look at this
He's
bit here.
educated you about the film. It's different.
I'll put my hand up. There has been films that I've watched with you that I have paused to say, "Oh, have you seen this one?" Things like that. I'd really admit to that.
Everyone.
No,
I mean,
we haven't watched. We haven't watched.
Look at this. She's just about to run into the glass, and she can tell it's coming. Look at this. Can you see that light in his eyes? That's a hint to tell you that he's actually a replicant. But is he? Because we don't know.
No. Now I know that that's a fib, because I have certain specific views about that reflective light in the eyes. Because that's something that Ridley Scott said probably 20, 30 years after the film came out. He retroactively said, "Oh, I intended that to indicate that the replicants," and he never did. It was just a particular light that they used while filming, and it had this effect of...
I'm aware of that because you told me at the time.
No,
Yeah.
that's not...
Seriously?
No, I'll agree with you to disagree on that. But I've never watched Blade Runner with you. Or RoboCop. I'll stand by that. I will stand by that.
He's getting old now. His grey cells aren't what they used to be. There's colour seeping into them.
I'm old enough to know my mind. But yeah, RoboCop is a bona fide classic.
Now you've seen... Yes, I've seen both of them. First one's brilliant. Second one, it's like cashing in on something that was good. I remember dancing in Leeds Fountain after seeing Footloose at the cinema. Film about a man's expulsion from paradise.
No.
To be honest with you, RoboCop, there's 3 scenes that I just seem to remember over and over again. And that's him getting blown to bits at the beginning. It's like, all right, okay, I think he's dead.
That was nasty.
Yeah, it's like...
At the age I watched it, that was damn.
Do those bullets cost nothing? The bit with Ed 209 and then the acid bath that the guy gets at the end. That's my entire memories of that first film. And that's the only film I've seen.
But I also remember, Dick, you're fired. Thank you.
Nope, don't remember that. Don't remember that at all.
I liked it because it was logical.
Classic. Tell me you're thinking of the remake. No, I actually got to see the remake beginning to end without getting paused every 5 minutes.
No, you just been facetious.
You regretted it.
Which, I'll be honest with you, it's not what the original was, but I don't think it's a terrible film.
It's what the remake isn't. The remake's okay for what it is.
Right. You know, but by the standard of films that are coming out now, it's probably an Oscar-worthy contender.
The thing with the remake is that you couldn't. You see
class.
what?
Oh God, yes, he was in first class, wasn't he?
Oh, he was majorly in first class.
Yeah.
X-Men first class.
What made the original RoboCop good in a narrative way was like the critique on the Reaganomics and things like that.
Yeah.
Where that wouldn't transpose to a modern remake, because obviously things operate differently. So they obviously had to go in a different way. There is still some corporatism and corporate critique in it, but from a different angle to it. And like I say, in and of itself, that remake it's a decent film. You know, it's a decent film. It's obviously isn't as good as the original that that it's been spawned by.
The funny thing is, if they were to remake it now, and they're probably working on a remake, what they would have to do to make it relevant now would be what we would say is, "Oh my God, why are they putting that in it? Why did they put this in everything?"
Maybe.
Why did it work?
The worst thing about that film was, though, all you needed somebody with a remote control that had the disassemble code in it, and you can just make them fall to pieces.
Yeah.
No more RoboCop.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think, but it's movie logic, isn't it? I mean, we could be here all night and all morning discussing plot holes or things that don't make sense in films. But like I said, films are done to be entertaining. And the thing that obviously recent discussion has shown as well is how polarizing movies are and people's opinions on movies. You know, because everybody takes away something different from a film, and everybody enjoys different films. You know, which is great. It's like with toy collecting. You know, there's a flavour for everyone. You know,
so brought it back on topic.
Well, you see, you know, there's a flavour for everyone. You know, so you know, one person will like one movie or one collectible. You know, someone else will like another.
Palpatine Return, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd say stuff like that. I'm like, how did they write this crap? But they didn't even bother writing it.
No.
Somehow, Palpatine returned. That's
It's
got to be the worst writing in Hollywood history.
It's like a robot chicken moment, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
But you know, I think a lot of the problem with that is, it's like, you know, when you watch new films now, there's like a massive list of writers and producers and things like that, and I think it's a case of films now seem to be made by committee or by tick boxes, yeah. And it's like, what can we do? We've got to have this in it. We've got to have that. But when you look back at older films like late 70s through the 80s, most films had maybe one writer, two at the most, and then you had maybe one producer and then one exec producer, yeah. So like, you had a lot more streamlined people working on the film, with less interference, so most directors could direct a film and get their vision out there of what they wanted the people to see, at the cinemas, rather than now. I mean, it's like I was reading today earlier that apparently the Warner Brothers are very displeased with one of the first rough cuts of Superman.
I'd heard there was displeased with the trailer.
Yeah, but I think it's leading on that there's some aspects of the film that they want changing on the back of the trailer. What else? The other one as well is I hesitate to call it Captain America because it's not Captain America, is it? But apparently that's going back for reshoots.
All right.
Yeah, I'd heard that. That's a little bit late. Late for reshoots at this point, isn't it?
I know it is, because it's not. Apparently, it's not test screened very well again.
When's it due out though?
I think it was supposed to.
Whenever they want to let it go.
It was supposed to be early next year, was it, or something like that? I'm not really sure.
So a little bit later than I thought then. But no, yeah. I think when it comes to films like Superman, you have to expect nowadays there to be some kind of committee on board, because you are not making your film, you are not dealing with your character and what you're doing with it. This is something that reflects a very, very strong part of someone's business, and an entire corporation hinges on Superman being received relatively well. So I get why there's an issue there. So, same, I suppose, with the Captain America thing. But I think when there's new ideas brought to the board, or when it's brand new adaptations, if when it comes to Harry Potter, they're working on a new Harry Potter series, aren't they? if they're going to do anything based on that, the only person that should get a word in there outside the people making the films is J.K. Rowling. You know, it's her character. If you're going to do something that she doesn't like with it, then that she's the only person that should have a say in it. Bloody hell, Steve, you only just turned up.
Yeah, I've got to go and get some kip, gentlemen. Because
all right, well, good night, Andy. I think we won't be far behind you.
Actually, yeah, I'm same. I'm going to chip now anyway as
Go
well.
on, then. We'll use this as our opportunity to say good night.
It's as they say in the comic book world, it's a good jumping off point.
Yeah. It's a good topic for next time. Yeah, good topic for next time. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night all.
Yeah, all right, we're going to go. Bye. Bye. Before we go, does anyone want to say what they've got coming up?
Star Trek.
Andy's got Star Trek stuff coming up. Tomorrow night you've got something, haven't you? You won't be there for it.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I need an early night.
Yeah. Right,
It's
okay.
Enterprises tomorrow night. Yes.
Yeah. Ed, have you got anything?
Absolutely nothing.
No.
Nothing at all. Maybe something in the new year.
Fair
But
enough.
nothing.
We look forward to that. Friday,
Nothing first.
I think I've got a Hot Toys review coming out at some point this week. Miles Morales, so watch out for that. And with that, we're gone. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. We love you all. We do, really.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later.